accompanying Lu Qing as he chose a gate to enter. It signified that everyone within the returning ruins' secret realm had already stepped into a trial gate. Meanwhile, within the vast immortal palace, several ancient wills slowly awakened from their slumber. Why have I awoken? Ah, I see. The immortal palace has been opened once again. One of the wills was initially a bit bewildered, then quickly understood the situation. It let out a sigh like the toll of a bell. Another 100,000 years have passed. Indeed, another 100,000 years have gone by. Another aged voice sounded, filled with the vicissitudes of time. Only 100,000 years, just a few sleeps, and you two old folks are sighing about what? At this moment, another crisp voice coldly chimed in. Mingfeng, you are still young. You do not understand the sentiment of time. Naturally, you do not share our feelings, began the initial will. I've been around for over 300,000 years. Still considered young? You two old geezers better not rely on age to act smug. Hurry up and get ready to work. If you delay the master's matters, don't blame me for not being polite. The clear voice scornfully replied. All right, there's no need to rush. Those young ones won't pass the trials anyway, said the bell-like voice of the initial will. Indeed, the outside world has grown more desolate. There aren't many worthy talents. Last time, not even half made it through. This time will be even worse, the aged voice agreed. Anyway, you must all earnestly complete the tasks assigned by the master. If any mistakes happen, be careful of my wrath, the crisp voice coldly stated, not showing any deference despite the higher seniority of the other two wills. Even though it also believed that no one could pass the trials set by the master, as long as it was an instruction left by the master, it would execute it meticulously no matter what. Even if the master had left this world hundreds of thousands of years ago. Fine, we will start now. Seeing the crisp voice was about to truly become angry, the other two wills promptly replied. One of the aged voices stirred their heart and spirit, suddenly manifesting dozens of light screens in front of the wills. Displayed on the light screens was the activity of various forces as they entered the trial gates. Let us first see which young ones have come to undertake the trials this time. There are 29 tribulations primordial spirits, 8 tribulations primordial spirits, the rest aren't worth mentioning. How did a little one with the primordial spirit 4th tribulation sneak in, and all alone? How interesting. Looking at the activity on the screens, the aged voice suddenly exclaimed, a little one with the primordial spirit 4th tribulation? Both the bell-like voice and the crisp voice were somewhat surprised by this. Throughout the Immortal Palace's 3 openings, they had never seen a cultivator with such low cultivation levels enter, especially alone. Especially knowing the nature of these cultivators, such a weak one should have been eliminated by others long ago. It's this little one. Within the Immortal Palace, one of the light screens suddenly enlarged, revealing Lu Qing's figure. Although this little one's cultivation is not high, his chi blood is rather extraordinary. It appears he primarily cultivates the path of the body, the aged voice remarked. Primarily cultivating the body, but isn't he currently in the array channel? The crisp voice asked in surprise. He is indeed in the array channel, which is why I said he is interesting. With a notable physical body, he still chose the path of the array. Does he perhaps have achievements in the path of the array as well? Regardless of his talent, a cultivation level of 4 tribulations is too low to pass the trials. No need to pay attention. Focus on those 29 tribulations primordial spirits and 8 tribulations primordial spirits. If their talent is good, they may have a sliver of chance to pass the master's trials. The crisp voice finally decided. The aged voice did not object, as it held the same belief. Though that little one with the 4 tribulations was somewhat special, a mere 4 tribulations cultivation level was not enough to warrant their focus. Immediately, the light screen belonging to Lu Qing shrunk, while those for the 29 tribulations primordial spirits and the 8 tribulations primordial spirits enlarged, manifesting before them. Of course, despite their observations, none of the 3 ancient wills held much hope for these cultivators. During the last 2 openings of the Immortal Palace, Even cultivators with stronger cultivation levels entered, yet the results were disappointing. None had even breached half of the trials set by the Master to reach the Immortal Palace. Had the Master not decreed that the returning ruins secret realm opens every 100,000 years, they would not even consider allowing these mediocre individuals to taint the Immortal Palace. Thus, although watching the screens, the three wills were somewhat absent-minded. Even the crisp voice was thinking of other matters. Master, it has been so many years. How are you doing in the higher realm? Why do you not come back for a look? Thought the crisp voice. This array channel consists of 9 trials. Once the 9 trials are passed, you may enter the Immortal Palace and receive fortuitous opportunities. Lu Qing naturally did not know that all his actions were being observed. With his current realm and cultivation, he could not sense the scrutiny of such existences. At this moment, as he had just entered the array channel, a stream of information transmitted into his consciousness. Indeed, the test channel he chose was precisely the array channel. Lu Qing naturally had his considerations for choosing the array. Although his foundation was solid, with virtually no weaknesses. Whether it was his physical body, mana, or primordial spirit power, all far exceeded cultivators of the same realm. But when compared to the top-tier primordial spirit cultivators of 8 tribulations or 9 tribulations, there might still be a gap. After all, his realm cultivation was still too low, only 4 tribulations. But the rune array path was different. While this cultivation path also required high realm strength, it wasn't exceedingly high. The rune array path placed the most importance on insight. And insight was precisely the greatest advantage of Lu Qing, who possessed heaven-defying talent and superpower. Thus, after thinking it over, he finally chose the array channel. In this test channel, except for special nodes where it intersects with other channels, no battles are allowed at other locations? Lu Qing carefully pondered the information he had just received, feeling a bit relieved. If battles are not allowed, it is undoubtedly good news for him. After all, he was only one person. Even with significant strength advancement, simultaneously facing dozens of primordial spirit great powers above 5 tribulations would be difficult to withstand. I wonder what paths the other forces chose. Looking at Mo Tushan, it doesn't seem like they're proficient in formations, so I shouldn't run into them for now. Although Lu Qing was very disgusted with the people from the Black and White Temple, he understood that the chances of encountering them in the array channel were slim. As for those from the Skybreaking Sword Sect and Kongming Sect, they were evidently following the path of sword cultivation, likely taking the Sword Dao channel. As such, the array channel shouldn't have too many strong opponents. Lu Qing pondered for a moment and began to slowly observe his surroundings. At this moment, he was in an empty white jade room. In front of him was a teleportation array and nothing else. Obviously, to pass the test, he needed to enter the array. After cautiously using his superpower to check, and confirming his guess was correct, Lu Qing confidently stepped into the teleportation array. Next moment, space twisted and fluctuated, with a dizzying sensation, and when Lu Qing regained his vision, he found himself in a special space. Underfoot was a space only 3 feet square, beyond which were dense rune patterns forming multiple layers of array formation light screens surrounding him. Each layer of the array formation light screens was not very strong, only at the primordial spirit 1 tribulation level. Meanwhile, a message entered his mind. Within 1 hour, use array techniques to solve the 9 layers of formations surrounding you. After succeeding, you can proceed to the next test. If you fail, you will be transported out of the channel and lose qualification to roam the array channel. Lu Qing immediately understood the meaning of that message. He glanced around and found he was not alone in this space. Not far away, dozens of others were similarly surrounded by heavy layers of array formation light screens. It seems everyone is taking the same test in this first stage. Lu Qing understood. Why is there another person coming in? Could it be that people from other channels failed and came to challenge the array channel? The other primordial spirit realm cultivators sensed Lu Qing's presence and looked over. They were a bit surprised. Logically, as the Immortal Palace had only just opened, it was unlikely for those from other channels to be eliminated so soon. Upon seeing Lu Qing, everyone was astonished. It's him. The one who tricked Mo Tushan's 5 tribulations youth. If it's him, it's not surprising. For Lu Qing, most of the primordial spirit realm cultivators present had a strong impression. This young man had once fooled Mo Tushan and even managed to escape unscathed. Especially on that day when Lu Qing demonstrated his speed, many believed he must possess precious treasures. Unfortunately, since that incident, Lu Qing seemed to have vanished without a trace. Some powerful cultivators had specifically searched for his whereabouts but found nothing. Some even suspected he secretly left the returning ruins' secret realm. It now appeared he hadn't left. It's just unknown where he had been hiding, only to quietly appear after everyone entered the test channels. Tricky indeed, knowing that the test channels don't allow battle, only sneaking in at the end? Many strong cultivators cast meaningful glances at Lu Qing. Although battles weren't permitted within the channel, it didn't prevent them from remembering Lu Qing's primordial spirit aura. After exiting the channel, opportunities would arise. Lu Qing naturally felt many probing glances from his surroundings, but he paid no mind. He knew that the speed he demonstrated while fooling Mo Tushan would attract the covetous eyes of many strong cultivators. What he was more concerned about now was the speed of the strong cultivators in unraveling the array. After observing, Lu Qing noticed some strong cultivators had already unraveled several layers of the surrounding array formation light screens. Some were down to only 1 or 2 layers, seemingly about to break through entirely. Whether anyone had already entered the next stage before his arrival was unclear. However, considering those still here were mostly strong cultivators of primordial spirit 5 or 6 tribulations, Lu Qing guessed some had likely already passed the first test. After checking around, Lu Qing finally focused his attention on the array formation light screen before him. The other strong cultivators also resumed their concentration, focused on unraveling the formations. They had been inside for quite some time. If they didn't hurry up, they'd be kicked out of the channel. Interesting, these 9 layers of array formation light screens appear independent, but are actually closely linked, intertwining to form an even more profound big array. No wonder so many strong cultivators are trapped here. Looking at the array formation light screen in front of him, Lu Qing didn't immediately use his superpower to probe. Instead, he first observed and comprehended with his own array knowledge. With Lu Qing's current array accumulation, even without using his superpower, his insight was exceptionally sharp. He quickly discerned the secret of the 9 layers of array formation light screens surrounding him. Each layer of these array formation light screens wasn't strong, but when intertwined, they formed a complete array with the power of a primordial spirit 5 tribulations. It could be described as a remarkably exquisite, highly mysterious array. To use array techniques to break such an intricate array required a significant accumulation on the rune array path. Even with Lu Qing's current array mastery, it would take at least a quarter of an hour. Of course, Lu Qing had a more effortless method. After marveling at the array's intricacy, he didn't hesitate and immediately activated his superpower, looking at the array formation light screen in front of him. Within a few breaths, several snippets of information floated from the array formation light screen. The 9-fold interlocking array? It is aptly named. Seeing the information revealed on the note, Lu Qing smiled slightly. Indeed, the array before him contained a heritage that could be downloaded. He promptly chose to download, and soon after downloading, he selected to simulate. Once his superpower finished simulating, he immediately entered a learning state. The next moment, countless insights regarding the 9-fold interlocking array appeared in Lu Qing's mind, prompting him to gently close his eyes. Of course, this action didn't attract anyone's attention, because those trapped here were all deep in thought, pondering how to unravel the array. Some were calculating with their fingers, some were frowning, some were using magical treasures to deduce, and all were engaged in different activities. By comparison, Lu Qing appeared rather ordinary. No one knew that the 5 tribulations youth was now rapidly comprehending and mastering the array, confining them at unimaginable speed. After about half a quarter of an hour, Lu Qing finally opened his eyes. In the next moment, a flash of brilliance appeared in his eyes, and with his hands, he cast numerous spells onto the array formation light screen before him. as Lu Qing performed numerous spells onto the array formation light screen. The first layer of the light screen trembled slightly and quietly dissolved after a few moments. Lu Qing didn't pause and continued to strike seals onto the second layer of the light screen. Soon, the second light screen was also cracked after a few breaths. Next was the third layer of the light screen. When Lu Qing started to crack the array, it initially didn't attract much attention. After all, time was tight, and most of the strong characters who were still here were already on the verge of being eliminated. Thus, everyone focused their attention on the array formation light screen in front of them, without regard for others. But as Lu Qing swiftly broke layer after layer of the formation light screen, with the continuous disappearance of the light screens, eventually, it attracted the attention of several strong characters nearby, who turned their gaze toward him. At this glance, those strong characters widened their eyes in disbelief, because they saw around that 5 Tribulation Kid, 7 layers of formation light screens had already disappeared, leaving only the last 2 layers. How is this possible? How did that kid achieve this? Some strong characters found it unbelievable. They hadn't forgotten that this 5 Tribulation Kid had just entered not long ago. Logically speaking, at this time, he should at most still be working the array, but how could he have cracked 7 layers of formation light screens so quickly? The strong characters widened their eyes, staring at Lu Qing, wanting to see how he did it. Then, in the next moment, they were even more shocked. Lu Qing nonchalantly performed a series of spells at such a speed that even made their eyes blurrily dazzled. As this series of spells fell upon the light screen, they saw it took only 1 or 2 breaths for the 8th layer of the formation light screen to tremble slightly and suddenly shatter. Immediately, Lu Qing did not pause at all, and casually continued to strike spells onto the 9th layer of the light screen. As expected, the 9th layer of the formation light screen persisted for only 2 or 3 breaths before it crashed and shattered. With this, all 9 layers of the formation light screen were cracked by Lu Qing, while also triggering a response from the array channel. In an instant, beams of light appeared where Lu Qing was standing, enveloping him. The sudden appearance of light finally drew the attention of other strong characters who were concentrating on breaking the formation. Because they knew this light was a sign that someone passed the trial and was about to enter the next level. The strong ones looked over, wanting to see who had cracked the trial again. When they saw that the person enveloped by the light was Lu Qing, everyone was initially stunned, then all eyes were wide open. It's actually that 5 Tribulation Kid? How is it possible for him to have broken through so fast? This kid came in just a quarter of an hour ago, yet he's already cracked all 9 layers of the light screens. How did he do it? In the eyes of all the strong characters, there was an expression of disbelief. They never expected that the one who passed the trial was the 5 Tribulation Kid who had barely entered. But how did this kid accomplish it, using just a quarter of an hour to crack this exceptionally mysterious and profoundly obscure formation? It should be noted that even those formation masters who had passed the trial before, renowned in the starry sky outside as Array Dao Primordial Spirit Masters, didn't crack this first test formation at such a speed. Despite the shock among the strong, unfortunately, no one could answer the questions in their hearts. Even those few strong ones who first noticed Lu Qing were the same. Just like that, under the eyes of everyone who couldn't believe it, Lu Qing's figure disappeared from the original place with the scattering of the light column, entering the next level. When Lu Qing entered the second level, in the Immortal Palace, a hoarse voice suddenly stirred in heart and spirit. "Old Cyan Dragon, what happened?" Hong Zhong's voice asked. Earlier, that 4 Tribulation Cultivator took only a quarter of an hour to pass the first level of the formation, breaking the 9 turns Lianhuan array. Although Lu Qing changed his aura, disguising as a 5 Tribulation Primordial Spirit, but the 3 ancient wills within the Immortal Palace had too high a realm. Even the perfect Primordial Spirit's transformation technique couldn't fool their eyes. They could see at a glance Lu Qing's real realm and cultivation. He took only a quarter of an hour to break the 9 turns Lianhuan array? Hong Zhong's voice and the chilly voice were somewhat surprised. It should be known that the 9 turns Lianhuan array, although not high in level, is merely a Primordial Spirit primary level formation. but it was created by their master, and even if it's merely a primordial spirit primary level, it is exceptionally mysterious. Being able to crack it in a quarter of an hour indicates that his talent in formations is quite profound and talented. At least more talented than most cultivators who entered the secret realm in the previous 2 times. No wonder he clearly has a powerful physical body, yet chose the array channel. It seems he indeed has good talent in the array Dao, but unfortunately, his cultivation is too low. He is doomed not to go far. The chilly voice said regretfully. The other 2 wills also felt a bit regretful at this time. The challenges of the array channel become progressively harder, requiring very powerful primordial spiritual sense to glimpse a trace of mystery within. Especially the last formation involves a hint of harmonization realm mystery. Without a sufficiently powerful primordial spirit, not to mention comprehending, even just a glance would injure one's heart and spirit from the profound meaning of the Tao within. In the view of these 3 ancient wills, that primordial spirit 4th tribulation cultivator, no matter how much talent he has in formations under the realm cultivation limitation, he is impossible to break through too many levels. However, after a moment of contemplation, the cold voice spoke. Bring the image of this 4th tribulation primordial spirit forward as well. I was thinking the same. It's rare to have such an interesting young man. Let's see how far he can go. The old voice laughed. Indeed, such an intriguing lad might bring us surprises. The Hongzhong voice chimed in. The 3 ancient wills have been in this immortal palace for too long. Rare amusement aroused their interest. The old voice moved Lu Qing's light screen forward, just slightly smaller than those of the 2-9 tribulations primordial spirits and 8-8 tribulations primordial spirits, but already quite prominent. Of course, most of their attention remained on those top-tier primordial spirits. After all, those young ones standing at the pinnacle of the primordial spirit realm were the ones with a real chance of passing the trials. That 4th tribulation primordial spirit cultivator could only add a bit of amusement to their otherwise dull days in the immortal palace. Is this the 2nd stage of the space? Lu Qing was unaware that his performance in the 1st stage had already caught the attention of several ancient consciousnesses in the immortal palace. At this moment, he had been teleported to another space by the beam of light. Lu Qing surveyed his surroundings. The new space was actually quite similar to the 1st stage, still surrounded by numerous array formation light screens. But this space contained far fewer people than the previous one. Lu Qing only saw 10 figures, trapped like him by the array formation light screens. And the aura of these figures was exceedingly powerful, with the weakest among them being 6 tribulations primordial spirits. Indeed, someone must have cracked the arrays early and entered the 2nd stage. Just not sure if anyone has progressed to the 3rd stage yet. Lu Qing assessed his surroundings and understood. At this time, a piece of information also entered his mind. And naturally, the others noticed Lu Qing's arrival. At first, they thought it was an array master from some faction who broke through. However, upon seeing it was Lu Qing, all their faces registered surprise. These strong figures naturally recognized Lu Qing. Whether it was his audacity to provoke Mo Tushan or his astonishing speed, he made a deep impression on them. Yet none expected he would show up in the Array Challenge channel and make it to the 2nd stage. What's more, they hadn't seen Lu Qing in the 1st stage. Which means this somewhat mysterious primordial spirit 5 tribulations lad entered the 1st stage after they broke through. But now, he appeared faster than everyone in the 2nd stage. Thinking about this, many strong figures looked at him with mixed feelings. Unfortunately, trapped by the arrays, they were not allowed to communicate or even use divine soul transmission. Otherwise, if sensed by the big array, they'd be immediately expelled from the channel, unable to enter again. So no matter how puzzled they were, they had to hold back their thoughts and continue to comprehend the array before them. Yet, some strong figures spared a bit of heart and spirit to monitor Lu Qing's movements. They wanted to see if this primordial spirit 5 tribulations lad truly had such remarkable array prowess. I see this 2nd stage is still about breaking the array. However, the time limit is extended, changed to a day. Upon receiving the information, Lu Qing understood. The 2nd stage trial wasn't much different from the 1st, still about breaking the array. The time limit, however, was significantly extended, now a full day. It seems the array in the second stage is much more challenging than the previous one. Lu Qing focused on the array formation light screen before him. He still didn't immediately use his superpower but relied on his own array expertise to analyze the array before him. After all, this was a great opportunity to test the accumulation of his rune path. This time, around Lu Qing, the array screens were even more plentiful. Upon careful observation, there were exactly 18 layers. Double the layers compared to the first stage array. Moreover, their operational connections were far more intricate and complex. With his heart and spirit sensing the mystical interchanges between the layers, it took him a full 2/4 of an hour to untangle the inner transformation patterns. During this period, more than 10 primordial spirit realm cultivators passed the first stage trial and entered the second stage. Those who broke through the stage saw Lu Qing indeed in the second stage, their eyes displaying unusual expressions. Unfortunately, unable to communicate, they couldn't pass on Lu Qing's astounding first stage performance to their companions in the second stage. Yet these primordial spirit realms couldn't help but spare some attention to monitor Lu Qing's every move while comprehending the array. Thus, Lu Qing quickly became the most watched individual in the second stage. Indeed, the array in the second stage is significantly harder. Even I, without using my superpower, would take close to an hour to fully break it. No wonder the time limit was extended. Having finished his comprehension, Lu Qing expressed amazement. It's not out of arrogance, but Lu Qing knew that after mastering numerous powerful arrays and restrictions, his accumulation in the rune path was already immensely profound. He even dared to say, the entire returning ruins secret realm's primordial spirit realm, none could have a deeper rune path accumulation than his. And whether it be the array path or the restriction path, they essentially stem from the rune path. Thus, even without using superpower, Lu Qing could break the array before him just with his array understanding. Of course, merely breaking it wasn't difficult. But Lu Qing's goal was more than just breaking it. He wanted to completely master the mystical array before him, enhancing his rune array path foundation. After comprehending and testing his array understanding, Lu Qing finally activated his superpower, looking at the array screen ahead. In a few moments, several strips of information floated down from the screen. 18 Mystical Heaven Array? Quite a formidable name. Lu Qing looked at the strips of information, then chose to download, and once downloaded, selected to simulate. Moments later, when his superpower simulated the array knowledge he downloaded, Lu Qing didn't hesitate to learn it immediately. Next, a torrent of array insights surged through his mind. Lu Qing closed his eyes, calmly absorbing the insights. Is this primordial spirit 5 tribulations lad having an epiphany? Seeing Lu Qing closing his eyes as though in deep thought, the primordial spirit realms who kept observing him couldn't help but speculate. Unfortunately, without means to confirm, they continued to watch. This young lad had an epiphany so soon? In the Immortal Palace, several ancient consciousnesses also witnessed Lu Qing's actions. The Hongzhong voice couldn't help but comment. Impossible, this second stage's 18 Mystical Heaven array is several times harder than the first stage's 9 revolving array. No matter the talent, this young lad can't have insights so quickly. The cold voice couldn't help but deny. Whether it's true or not, we'll know soon enough, said the old voice. Yet, unconsciously, they focused intently on Lu Qing's movements. However, their attention soon shifted to another matter. Oh, someone in the Law Channel broke through to the third stage? No, someone in the Sword Dao Channel and Physical Body Channel also reached the third stage. The old voice's tone revealed excitement. Looks like we overlooked this. This time, some good seedlings entered the secret realm, seemingly stronger than the last 2 entries. Upon hearing this, the Hongzhong voice and cold voice immediately turned their gaze to other light screens. Upon hearing the aged voice, the other 2 ancient wills also fixed their gaze on those light screens. If Lu Qing were here, he could see that what was displayed inside were the figures of He Ming, Mo Tushan, and Yu Jian. How long has it been? Someone has already entered the third trial. It seems the cultivators entering the secret realm this time are indeed stronger than the last 2 times. The cold voice spoke with some surprise. Not just them. There's also an 8 Tribulations primordial spirit in the Divine Soul Test channel, who is also about to break through. The aged voice added. Simultaneously, the light screen showing the Divine Soul Test channel situation also enlarged, displaying the figure of Peach Fairy. So many excellent seedlings came all at once. It seems those sect forces that obtained the tokens earlier have sent their best descendants in. The cold voice speculated. Why are all of them 8 Tribulations primordial spirit breaking through? Where are the 9 Tribulations primordial spirits? Hong Zhong's voice asked. Those 9 Tribulations primordial spirits are also doing quite well. In the mana challenge, they are about to break through. The aged voice said. Still not very impressive. The cold voice shook its head. As 9 Tribulations primordial spirits, their breakthrough speed is even slower than the 8 Tribulations ones. Obviously they've just endured over time. Their potential is limited. Even if they pass the test in the end, they can at most become the Master's registered disciples. Being able to even have 1 registered disciple would be good enough. I just fear they end up being all talk and no action, and in the end, none can pass the test. Hong Zhong's voice said. Let's keep watching, at least it's much better than last time. If this time doesn't work, maybe next time there will be a registered disciple to inherit part of the Master's legacy. The cold voice sighed. With these words, the other 2 wills fell silent for a moment. They felt a bit ashamed. The Master left the returning ruins secret realm over 300,000 years ago, yet they still haven't selected a single qualified registered disciple for the Master, truly failing the Master's trust. For a while, silence reigned in the Immortal Palace. So that's how it is. This 18 Mystic Heavens array is actually closely related to the 9 revolving interlocking array before it, but the changes within it are much more mysterious and complicated, making it far more difficult to break. On the other side, Lu Qing finally fully comprehended the insights of the big array that had trapped him. At the same time, he also gained a comprehensive understanding of this 18 Mystic Heavens array. This 18 Mystic Heavens array is extraordinarily ingenious and mysterious and has a great connection to the First Trial's 9 revolving interlocking array, being part of the same lineage. But this is normal. If there wasn't any connection, considering it's a brand new and exceptionally mysterious big array. In just one day, except for an anomaly like Lu Qing, even a 9 Tribulations primordial spirit would have difficulty breaking it. If that were the case, this so-called array test would be meaningless. After all, the returning ruins secret realm restricts those stronger than primordial spirits from entering. If even the 9 Tribulations primordial spirit can't break the second trial, that would be too unreasonable. Knowing there's a connection between the 2 arrays, Lu Qing instead didn't hurry to break the formation. He intuitively felt that since the array channel was arranged this way, there must be a reason. So, he didn't immediately open his eyes, choosing instead to stay in a state of sudden enlightenment, starting to ponder the mysteries between the 2 arrays, comprehending their essential connection. In such contemplation, time slowly passed by. By the time Lu Qing had comprehended and integrated the 2 arrays, several hours had gone by. Indeed, these 2 arrays originate from the same source, likely derived from certain array formation concepts. Lu Qing opened his eyes, an understanding reflected in them. After so long comprehending, he finally grasped some essence of these 2 arrays. Understanding that the 9 revolving interlocking array and the 18 Mystic Heavens array should be derived from certain array formation concepts. More precisely, they should belong to the same array formation lineage. Unfortunately, although Lu Qing grasped some essence and now completely mastered these 2 arrays, but just these 2 arrays are insufficient for him to fully comprehend that array formation lineage. However, Lu Qing felt that since the arrays of the first 2 trials were part of the same lineage, it's possible that the arrays in the subsequent trials are also similar. If that's the case, perhaps he can acquire another powerful array formation inheritance. Thinking of this, Lu Qing focused his gaze on the light screen before him. However, just as he was about to start breaking the array, a burst of light suddenly erupted in the space. Lu Qing turned to look, then saw a figure enveloped in a pillar of light, with all the array formation light screens around disappearing. It was someone who had already cracked all the array formation light screens and successfully passed the trial. It was a youthful figure with a rune mark on the brow, whose aura had reached the peak of the seventh tribulation of primordial spirit. Also one of the highest realm cultivators within this second trial. To have passed the trial smoothly in just a few hours, this individual's array mastery is quite extraordinary. Lu Qing was somewhat surprised. It seems there are indeed formidable array masters among those in this trial, which explains why they would choose this test channel. It's him, the direct lineage true disciple from Primordial Technique sect, Su Xingtu. No wonder he's renowned as an array master, breaking through so quickly. The Primordial Technique sect is truly about to produce a true dragon this time. As for the other strong cultivators, they were even more astonished. Especially the other seventh tribulation cultivators. Their eyes trembled. Because although they had also broken through some array barriers, compared to Su Xingtu's speed, they were far behind. Su Xingtu, clad in a star robe, stood proudly amidst the radiance. The shocked gazes of the surrounding strong cultivators did not cause him the slightest emotional fluctuation, because in his cultivation journey, he had experienced too many such scenes. As one of the most astonishing disciples in the history of the Primordial Technique sect. Since he began his cultivation countless times, people had looked at him the same way, shocked. So, even the gaze of strong cultivators of the same level was no longer able to move him. From beginning to end, Su Xingtu had only one goal, which was to pass through the array channels test, enter the Immortal Palace, and obtain the legendary unparalleled opportunity. Amidst the astonished gazes, as the light faded, Su Xingtu's figure vanished from the second level and entered the next stage. There's a 7 tribulation primordial spirit who also broke through to the third level. When Su Xingtu broke through, an ancient voice within the Immortal Palace immediately sensed it. A 7 tribulation of primordial spirit broke through? 2 other ancient wills were also surprised again. They mainly focused on the 9 tribulations primordial spirit and the 8 tribulations primordial spirit, which had not yet fully entered the third level. Now, unexpectedly, a 7th tribulation primordial spirit succeeded in breaking through and stepping into the third level. It's a little fellow from the array channel. The ancient voice moved in heart and spirit, and a light screen located relatively in the back moved to the front, showing Su Xingtu's figure. It really is a 7 tribulation primordial spirit, the array channel. Wasn't that 4th tribulation primordial spirit cultivator also walking the array channel? How is his situation now? A cold voice looked at the light screen of Lu Qing and paused, because it saw that there was no change around Lu Qing. Not even a single array formation light screen had been cracked. The old voice also sounded at this time. After entering the second level, that cultivator has been comprehending all along and has not yet carried out any array cracking. Several hours have passed, and he hasn't even cracked a single array formation light screen. It seems we can't expect too much from him. His realm is too low. He probably won't pass the second level. Hong Zhong's voice was somewhat disappointed. Honestly, it had a trace of expectation for Lu Qing, hoping he might stir up some excitement in the second level. After all, he had broken through the first level with a rather astonishing speed. Realm is fundamental. Even if he makes it through the second level, he probably can't surpass the third level. However, this 7th tribulation realm little fellow might surprise us. A cold voice concluded directly. At the same time, it also focused its attention over to Su Xingtu. A cultivator at the 7th tribulation of primordial spirit realm could crack the master's 18 mysterious heavenly arrays within hours. This suggests that this little fellow has an excellent talent for array formations. Even if he can't pass all the tests, he might touch the later stages of the levels. If he can break through to the 7th level at the 7 tribulation realm, he would barely meet the standard of the master's registered disciple. Thinking of this, a trace of expectation appeared in the eyes of the cold voice. The Primordial Technique sect, Su Xingtu, born with innate array patterns, is a natural-born array master? In the space of the second level, Lu Qing looked at the message on the slowly fading slip of paper in view, and felt shocked in his heart. Yes, in that short amount of time, He had activated his superpower and probed the information of that primordial spirit cultivator who had broken through. This investigation left him somewhat surprised, because the slip of paper indicated that the strong cultivator named Su Xinghe had an extraordinary origin. Born with mysterious innate array inscriptions within him, he possessed an extremely high talent on the path of arrays from birth. He was one of the most extraordinary true disciples among the young primordial spirits of the top sect, the Primordial Technique sect. No wonder he could crack the arrays of the second level so quickly. Indeed, beneath the starry sky, there are still countless geniuses not to be underestimated. Lu Qing marveled in his heart. A supreme genius born with mysterious innate array inscriptions. He hadn't even heard of one, let alone seen one before. After marveling for a moment, Lu Qing refocused his attention on the array formation light screen in front of him. Although Su Xinghe's performance was unexpected for Lu Qing, he didn't feel any pressure. After all, if he wanted to break the formation, he could have done it several hours ago. Moreover, his goal wasn't speed, but to fully master all the arrays of each level. Speed wasn't his main pursuit as long as he could break through. With this thought, Lu Qing began to cast a series of spells. The spells simultaneously landed on multiple array nodes of the light screen before him. In the next moment, the entire light screen gave a gentle tremble and quietly dissipated. The whole process was smooth and natural, without the slightest hint of smoke or fire, so subtle that it didn't draw anyone's attention. After breaking the first array light screen, Lu Qing didn't pause for a moment, continuing to cast a series of spells on the second light screen. Just like that, as all the other strong cultivators were still vibrating their heart and spirit over Su Xingtu's breakthrough, Lu Qing had already broken through 10 layers of light screens, cracking more than half of the array formation light screens around him. The continuous dissipating of light screens finally caught the attention of several nearby strong cultivators. When they looked over and saw that more than half of the array formation light screens around Lu Qing had disappeared, they were stunned. The next moment, they saw Lu Qing casually cast a series of spells on a light screen. Immediately, that light screen trembled gently, like a punctured bubble, and completely dissipated. The gazes of several strong cultivators suddenly widened. When did that kid start cracking formations? Moreover, why is his speed in cracking formations so fast? Could it be that he has seen this array formation before? For a moment, numerous questions popped up in the minds of several strong cultivators. Even they suspected whether Lu Qing had previously studied the formations surrounding them. There was no choice. Lu Qing's speed in breaking the formation was astoundingly fast. His effortless demeanor fully conveyed familiarity with the formations. Unfortunately, regardless of how shocked the strong cultivators were, no one could answer their questions at this moment. They could only watch Lu Qing, breaking through the array formation light screen in front of him at an unimaginable speed. In just dozens of breaths, he broke the last 7 layers of array light screens. A pillar of light suddenly appeared, enveloping him. The appearance of the light pillar immediately directed the gazes of all the strong cultivators in the second-level space toward it. They wanted to see which array master had broken through so quickly again. Then, as they saw the person being enveloped by the light pillar was Lu Qing, everyone immediately showed an expression of disbelief. How is that possible? It's that primordial spirit 5 tribulations kid. Wasn't he unable to crack even a single light screen just now? How did he suddenly break through? What exactly happened? A group of cultivators at the primordial spirit realm looked at Lu Qing in extreme shock. To their knowledge, several of them had even split their focus earlier to observe Lu Qing's movements. It was only Su Xingtu's sudden breakthrough that had drawn their attention away, but that was only for a short moment. They remembered that before Su Xingtu broke through, Lu Qing had not moved at all. The array formation light screens around him remained entirely unbroken. So why, in the blink of an eye, had he already broken through? Only those primordial spirit realm cultivators who entered the second level after Lu Qing showed a look of fervor in their eyes. It's the same again. This 5 tribulation kid must have mastered some method for rapid breakthroughs. Unfortunately, no matter how greedy their gaze was, surrounded by formations, They dared not make the slightest move. They could only watch as Lu Qing's figure disappeared within the second level. What? Just as Lu Qing successfully broke through, the ancient voice within the immortal palace also sensed it almost instantly. Old Azure Dragon, what's the matter? The other two wills heard the exclamation of the ancient voice and immediately asked. It's that primordial spirit fourth tribulation cultivator. He's already broken through. Already broken through? How is that possible? Wasn't he just unable to crack even a single layer of the array formation light screen? The voices of Hong Zhong and the cool voice both sounded somewhat incredulous. However, when they looked at the light screen displaying Lu Qing, they saw him enveloped by a beam of light, being teleported to the third trial. He really did break through. Old Azure Dragon. What exactly happened? Hong Zhong's voice asked in astonishment. The speed at which this primordial spirit fourth tribulation cultivator breaks arrays is unusually fast. The ancient voice carried a hint of oddity in its tone. From the moment he started breaking the array to completely dismantling it, he only used 30 breaths. 30 breaths to break the Master's 18 celestial profound array. That's impossible. Hong Zhong's voice was shocked and instinctively refuted. The cool voice's heart was similarly struck. Yet the fact remains. The ancient voice affirmed, though it found it unbelievable too. As the overseer of the 8 trial channels, its perception couldn't be wrong. The other two wills fell silent. They too knew that someone of old Azure Dragon's capabilities wouldn't make such a basic mistake. But the claim made by old Azure Dragon was simply too astounding. To crack the Master's 18 celestial profound array in 30 breaths is indeed unfathomable. Even an array grandmaster at the Unity Realm stage might not achieve this. To say a mere primordial spirit fourth tribulation cultivator did it, how could they not be shocked? There's only one possibility. The cool voice, calming down, spoke seriously. This primordial spirit fourth tribulation cultivator, in the earlier insights, completely comprehended the entire 18 celestial profound array, knowing it inside out. Otherwise, it wouldn't be possible to break the Master's array in just 30 breaths. Could it be possible to completely comprehend the 18 celestial profound array in just a few hours? Hong Zhong's voice couldn't help but say. Aware of the intricacy of the Master's array, it was deeply skeptical. A mere fourth tribulation primordial spirit having completely understood it after only a few hours of insight. This was equally unbelievable. That's why, in the following time, we must keep a close watch on this fourth tribulation primordial spirit. If his talent in arrays is indeed so formidable, then not only being a registered disciple, but even becoming the Master's direct disciple isn't out of the question. The cool voice spoke seriously, with a hint of excitement in its tone. The other two ancient wills, upon hearing this, also felt a touch of excitement. If true, they might fulfill the wishes their master left before leaving. Good. From now on, keep a close watch on this fourth tribulation primordial spirit. They immediately decided. So, in the ensuing time, all 3 ancient wills focused their entire attention on the light screen displaying Lu Qing. They even disregarded the situations of the 8 tribulations and 9 tribulations primordial spirits. Elsewhere, Lu Qing had no idea that his performance at the second trial had completely captivated the attention of the 3 ancient wills in the Immortal Palace. He waited until the light faded in front of him, discovering he had entered a new space. Similarly surrounded by numerous array formation light screens, their number had increased compared to the second trial, now numbering 27. Still, the group was sparse, with only him and the previously broken through Su Xingtu. It seems that among the array channel, we too are at the forefront. Lu Qing realized. Earlier he speculated whether someone had broken through into the third trial before him entering the second. Now it appeared that there wasn't any such extraordinary talent. The most formidable array masters entering the trial channel were Su Xingtu. Lu Qing's arrival naturally drew Su Xingtu's attention. He was somewhat surprised. In the second trial, although several skilled array masters existed, by his estimation, none should have broken through so quickly. Curious, Su Xingtu looked towards Lu Qing. Then, upon seeing Lu Qing clearly, he was instantly stunned. Impossible! How could it be him? Su Xingtu's eyes widened in disbelief, staring at Lu Qing, even doubting if he was seeing an illusion. Because he never imagined the one appearing in the third trial would be Lu Qing, the fourth tribulation primordial spirit. He hadn't forgotten, when he broke through, this young fourth tribulation primordial spirit hadn't even started cracking the array. But now, entering the third trial in less than 100 breaths, this fourth tribulation primordial spirit broke the array, successfully breaking through? What exactly happened in the second trial after he left? Su Xingtu's heart and spirit tremble. At this moment, he saw Lu Qing looking his way too, nodding slightly upon seeing him before turning away to focus on the array formation light screen before him. His gaze was exceptionally calm, showing not a hint of reverence or awe due to cultivation and reputation, as if he were but a common passerby. Interesting. Su Xingtu calmed down at this point. Rather than being upset about Lu Qing's attitude, he found it intriguing. This was one of the rare times he encountered someone so calm towards him in the field of array. Considering the other's previous performance, he must also be an exceptionally gifted array prodigy with a high spirit. A competitive spirit suddenly arose in Su Xingtu's heart. Then let's see which of us can break through the stage first. Lu Qing naturally had no idea about what was in Su Xingtu's mind. Out of courtesy, he nodded at him and then focused his attention on the array formation light screen before him. At the same time, a piece of information appeared in his mind. So the time limit to break this third stage is 3 days. Lu Qing understood. After a slight comprehension, he immediately felt a sense of familiarity. He understood in his heart that this third stage's array, like the previous 2 stages, was inherited in one continuous line. It seems highly likely that the arrays following this array challenge passage are also like this. This was certainly good news for Lu Qing, because this meant he had the opportunity to comprehend more of the essence, thereby gaining insight into the true array inheritance contained in this array channel. With this in mind, this time Lu Qing didn't use his own array mastery to comprehend the array formation light screen before him. After all, from the comprehension of the previous 2 stages, he already had some understanding of his array accumulation. He directly activated his superpower and gazed at the array formation light screen in front of him. Quickly, several strips of information floated out. The third stage's array is called the 27 Infinite Array. Lu Qing did not hesitate and chose to download it immediately. Once the download was complete, he chose to simulate it and finally started to study it directly. As a large amount of array comprehension information surged from the depths of his mind, Lu Qing closed his eyes and began to receive and comprehend it. What do you think? How long will it take this fourth tribulation of primordial spirit cultivator to successfully break through this stage? In the immortal palace, the deep voice of an ancient will asked, closely observing Lu Qing's every move. It's hard to say. This little guy is quite peculiar and seems quite different from other array masters. An aged voice sighed. He doesn't like to slowly break the array layer by layer. Instead, he prefers to comprehend it seriously first, then make a move and break the formation in one go. So before he acts, it's all uncertain. That just further proves that he wants to fully comprehend the entire array before taking action, a cold voice said. Then the immortal palace fell silent again. All 3 ancient wills knew the truth of whether it was as Ming Feng said would become clear when this fourth tribulation of primordial spirit cultivator acted again. The time limit of 3 days for breaking the third stage was trivial compared to their long lifespans. They had plenty of patience to wait in silence. However, what the 3 ancient wills did not expect was that they thought they would need to wait at least a day or 2 to see the result. After just over an hour, they saw Lu Qing starting to act. Though the third stage's array is more mysterious and complex than the first 2, it's easier for me to comprehend because I've grasped some of the essence. In the third stage's space, Lu Qing opened his eyes, array runes flowing in his eyes. This time, his comprehension of the 27 Infinite Array took less time than the second stage. Because during the second stage, he had already comprehended some of the essence that derived these 3 big arrays. With the push of the essential concept, even though the 27 Infinite Array was more mysterious, he comprehended it faster. And from these 3 arrays, he gleaned a trace of their core inheritance essence. If there could be a few more powerful big arrays, I might comprehend more of the essential concept and ultimately fully master the core inheritance in this channel. Lu Qing's eyes shone with light. He knew the more powerful arrays he needed must be in the levels beyond this array challenge channel. So without hesitation, he opened his eyes and directly executed a series of spells, hitting the array formation light screen in front of him. The little guy is moving to break the formation already. Why is it earlier than the second stage? Lu Qing's actions naturally caught the attention of the three ancient wills in the Immortal Palace immediately. After all, they had been closely observing his every move. So seeing Lu Qing act to break the formation after only comprehending for over an hour came as a surprise to them. In the second stage, Lu Qing had spent several hours comprehending the array. Why, when it came to the third stage, did the time spent comprehending become less? While the three ancient wills were surprised, an even more shocking scene unfolded. They saw the series of spells Lu Qing executed fall upon the light screen before him, and in the next moment, the light screen gently trembled and dissipated like a bubble within a breath. Then, without the slightest pause, Lu Qing executed another series of spells, immediately breaking the second light screen. Watching Lu Qing execute spells one after another, easily breaking through the layers of array formation light screen. As if the powerful array formation light screen in front of him was nothing but a phantom bubble. The three ancient wills in the Immortal Palace were completely stunned. The entire Immortal Palace was enveloped in a dead silence. At this moment, the three ancient wills finally realized how Lu Qing had broken the previous two stages and why his speed in breaking through was so quick. It was simply that his speed in breaking arrays was too exaggerated. The master who created the 27 infinite array made it extremely mysterious, with countless array nodes in every layer of the array formation light screen. Merely a glance was enough to make an ordinary primordial spirit realm cultivator dizzy and disrupt their heart and spirit. Yet in front of this fourth tribulation primordial spirit, it seemed as if there was no mystery at all. Just a casual series of spells could easily break it. Even with psychological preparation, the three ancient wills were still incredibly shocked, to the extent that they could only stare blankly at the scene, unable to say a word. In addition to the three ancient wills, there was one more person who was equally shocked. That was Su Xingtu, who was with Lu Qing in the third stage. Originally, Su Xingtu was fully focused on comprehending the array, seriously competing with Lu Qing. He even smoothly broke 3 layers of the array formation light screen while Lu Qing was comprehending with his eyes closed. As someone born with some innate array runes, Su Xingtu's array talent was indeed astonishing. Breaking through levels along the way, he also noticed that the several levels of arrays in this array challenge channel had some mysterious connection. He even captured a trace of spirit light. It was precisely with that trace of comprehension that his speed in comprehending the third stage array was not slow. It only took him 1 hour to break through 3 layers of the array formation light screen. With this speed, he was confident he could completely break the array before him and successfully pass the stage within a day. With such confidence, Su Xingtu glanced towards Lu Qing when he broke the 3rd layer of the array formation light screen. He wanted to see if this mysterious array master, whom he considered as his rival, had made any progress. But that one glance made his eyes widen. The calm and composed expression he always maintained was no longer sustainable, because he saw that the array formation light screen in front of Lu Qing had already disappeared by more than half, leaving less than 10 layers. How is this possible? Su Xingtu watched Lu Qing execute a series of spells to break a layer of light screen in just a breath. He could hardly believe what he was seeing. How could such a mysterious and magnificent array be broken so easily? Like this, under the gaze of the 3 ancient wills and a primordial spirit 7th tribulation prodigy array genius, Lu Qing, in an extremely short time, broke through all the array formation light screens of the 3rd stage's 27 infinite array, like a bamboo, breaking through all of them. The total time spent didn't even exceed 50 breaths. At the moment he successfully broke the formation, a beam of light suddenly appeared, enveloping him. Its dazzling light finally brought the 3 ancient wills back to their senses. Immediately, a surge of joy filled their hearts. Indeed, my guess was right. He truly comprehended the entire array before starting to break it. It took only an hour, yet he fully understood the Master's 27 infinite array. Such comprehension, such comprehension. Is this little guy born with an innate mastery of arrays? Otherwise, how could he possess such terrifying talent for arrays? Witnessing Lu Qing's methods of breaking the formation and his speed in passing the trials, the three ancient wills within the immortal palace were utterly shaken. Even though they had lived for hundreds of thousands of years with such vast experience, they had never before seen a formation devil like Lu Qing. In just an hour, he fully understood the Master's 27 infinite array and effortlessly broke it in mere moments. Even in ancient times, during an era of brilliant stars and countless prodigies, no one had ever achieved such a feat. Not even those few direct disciples of the Master. After the shock, came a wave of immense joy. For the three ancient wills realized they had finally found an unparalleled genius worthy of inheriting the Master's legacy. In that moment, stirred by excitement, the entire interior of the immortal palace trembled slightly. Mingfeng, should I transport this little guy directly from the array channel into the immortal palace? An elderly voice asked. Let's just observe a bit longer. A cool voice hesitated, finally shaking its head. Although this cultivator's performance has fully qualified him to become a direct disciple of the Master, but the rules of the trial channel were personally set by the Master. Unless the cultivator performing the trial is unable to continue or violates the rules, we are not allowed to intervene casually. This cultivator of the primordial spirit fourth tribulation is still passing the trials, so we cannot interrupt arbitrarily. Then let's continue watching. Right, we might as well see where this little guy's limits lie. The other two wills listened and promptly nodded in agreement. Although the Master has left, the rules he set remain supreme. Thus, even though they greatly desired to immediately recruit this primordial spirit fourth tribulation cultivator into the immortal palace, the three ancient wills restrained their impulse, choosing to continue observing. It would be an opportunity to see just how far this little guy could go. He actually broke through. In the third trial space, Su Xingtu stared blankly at the spot where Lu Qing had vanished. He didn't know how to describe his current feelings. Just now, he watched as Lu Qing, with unimaginable speed, easily broke through the last few layers of array formation light screen. Finally, enveloped in a pillar of light, he broke through and entered the fourth trial. Su Xingtu couldn't imagine how Lu Qing accomplished it. Could it be that he had seen this array before and already mastered it? But how was this possible? Everything in the returning ruins secret realm is mysterious and unknown. Even powerhouses like the Skybreaking Sword Sect and Netherworld Palace have limited understanding of it. How could a five tribulation primordial spirit have prior knowledge of the arrays within? If not, then there is only one explanation. That primordial spirit five tribulation expert possesses an array talent far surpassing his own. Thinking this, gazing at the 3 layers of array formation light screen he had broken, Su Xingtu's expression became bewildered. He didn't even know if he should continue breaking formations. This world-renowned absolute array genius, for the first time, doubted his own array talent. Lu Qing was unaware that because of his formation breaking, an absolute array genius nearly shattered his Dao heart. Upon reaching the 4th trial, he was once again surrounded by countless array formation light screens. This time, however, he was alone in the space with no other cultivators. Gazing at the array formation light screen in front of him, Lu Qing activated his superpower to investigate it. Soon, a smile appeared on his face. Just as he expected, the array formations in the 4th trial were aligned with those in the previous 3. Thus, it was almost certain that the following trials should be the same. Without hesitation, Lu Qing chose to download it. An hour later, as Lu Qing broke through the last light screen, a light pillar appeared. His figure vanished from the 4th trial. The 4th trial also took only 1 hour. The 3 ancient wills within the immortal palace, witnessing this, were at a loss for words. They knew the fourth trial's array was several times more complex than the third trial's 27 infinite array. Yet this primordial spirit fourth tribulation cultivator still broke it completely within an hour. However, what followed made the three ancient wills realize they had underestimated this primordial spirit fourth tribulation cultivator. In every following trial, Lu Qing spent no more than an hour to fully comprehend and quickly break the arrays. It seemed that the so-called array difficulty did not exist for him. No matter how complex the array, he could fully grasp it within an hour and then quickly break it. Without any hesitation, he effortlessly did so, as if taking a leisurely stroll rather than undergoing a test. Before long, he had reached the eighth trial. Within the immortal palace, a profound silence had fallen, and no sound arose for a long time. Three ancient wills were merely observing Lu Qing as he comprehended, broke formation, and conquered trials. Everything seemed as easy and effortless as having a meal or drinking water. Watching the formations that their master had painstakingly crafted, now effortlessly dismantled by a primordial spirit cultivator of the fourth tribulation, as if poking bubbles. The three ancient wills within the immortal palace were uncertain of their feelings, complex to say the least. More crucially, they had originally estimated that Lu Qing could at most reach the fifth or sixth trial. After all, the formations behind were immensely powerful, containing principles that were profoundly obscure. Even those cultivators beyond the seventh tribulation of primordial spirit might not withstand the terrifying implications within. Yet Lu Qing breezed through to the eighth trial, without showing any signs of strain. Such a talent for formations was unprecedented even in the dazzling era of ancient times. Therefore, the three ancient wills were indeed both shocked and delighted, and even slightly perplexed. Speaking of which, according to the master's established rules, the 8 test channels converge at the 5th, 7th, and 9th trials. This allows cultivators undergoing trials in various channels to compete against one another. But judging by this little one's pace, others in different channels are unlikely to encounter him. After a long silence, a voice like Hong Zhong suddenly spoke. It glanced at other light screens, where even the fastest cultivators had only just entered the 4th trial. The gap was so vast that catching up to Lu Qing in the 8th trial was impossible. It's better they don't encounter him. Should such a promising talent be accidentally harmed by them, the old dragon would flip, a hoarse voice echoed loudly. The tone made no attempt to conceal its protective sentiment. Having watched Lu Qing's journey, it was exceedingly satisfied with him. In the ancient dragon's mind, Lu Qing had long been seen as the master's most important direct disciple. If such a precious talent were harmed by the fools from other pathways, it wouldn't dare imagine its own rage at that time. Although the old dragon's words somewhat contravened the master's set rules. Neither the Hong Zhong voice nor the cool voice offered a rare rebuttal, because they too thought the same. Having waited over 300,000 years for such a precious talent, who might fully inherit the master's formation legacy, how could they allow any harm? If anyone dared lay hands on Lu Qing, they would intervene despite the risk of penalties. He has conquered the 8th trial as well. After a while, the hoarse voice rang. It need not say anything as the other 2 wills also observed Lu Qing, enveloped by a light column, being transported to the 9th trial after shattering the 8th formation with ease. By now, the full attention of the 3 ancient wills was upon Lu Qing. In other trial pathways, no matter if someone occasionally broke through, it did not pique their slightest interest. I wonder if he can break the 9th trial, the hoarse voice said. The other 2 wills also showed a look of anticipation. Although Lu Qing's talent for formation was unprecedented, enough to overshadow any formation genius, the 9th trial of the formation test channels was equally extraordinary. Its difficulty level was more than 10-fold harder than the preceding 8 combined, because the 9th trial's formation transcended the realm of primordial spirit, containing a hint of Unity Realm's formidable power. If Lu Qing could break even this formation, his talent would be truly unparalleled and peerless. As long as his future growth was smooth, his achievements would reach unimaginable heights. Finally arrived at the 9th trial. In the space of the 9th trial, Lu Qing's figure appeared, admiring the surrounding layers of formation light screens, feeling both awe-inspired and pleased. Having comprehended the previous 8 trials, he had grasped most of the inherent essence of the formation test channels. The realization in his heart was brewing, ready to converge into a piece of genuine mystical inheritance. He knew that fully understanding the grand array before him would complete the final piece of his realization, securing that inheritance. Lu Qing began observing the last grand array encircling him. As expected, this 9th formation comprises a total of 81 light screens. Lu Qing was not surprised, having discerned this pattern in earlier trials. However, the potency of the final formation was astonishing. Even without attacking, he could feel the terrifying power within each light screen that made his heart tremble. His intuition told him that if this grand array activated, any light screen's eruption could obliterate him into nothingness. Not even his thoroughly tempered and extremely resilient physical body could withstand it. Why does the power of this 9th formation seem more formidable than the preceding 8 combined? Feeling the potency on the screens, Lu Qing was somewhat perturbed. He dared not probe within using his primordial spirit power. Otherwise, his primordial spirit might not withstand such vast power, risking severe damage. Is this still a formation at the primordial spirit realm level? The more he sensed, the more astonished Lu Qing became. He even suspected that even a mighty cultivator of the 9 tribulations of primordial spirit might struggle against the formation's potent power here. Luckily, my approach to breaking formations differs from other array masters. Lu Qing was thankful, knowing that merely relying on his realm's cultivation, he couldn't have reached this point. Calming his mood somewhat, Lu Qing then activated his superpower, gazing at the formation light screen in front. Soon, several strips of information floated out. So the 9th trial's formation is called 9-9 returning to primordial array. Lu Qing nodded slightly, choosing to download the information. Downloading in progress, current progress 1%, 2%, 3%, 98%, 99%, 100%. Download complete, proceed with simulation. Lu Qing opted for simulation. Soon, as the superpower indicated simulation was complete, asking whether to proceed with learning, Lu Qing directly chose to learn. In the next moment, closing his eyes, countless formation insights surged joyfully from the depths of his mind. He's starting to comprehend. Within the immortal palace, the 3 ancient wills saw Lu Qing close his eyes, expectation gleaming. Having watched Lu Qing's journey closely, they knew that when he closed his eyes, it marked full engagement in comprehending formations. And when he reopened his eyes, it meant he was ready to break formations. I wonder how much time he'll take to comprehend this time. Surely not just an hour again? Hong Zhong's voice mused. Yet the other 2 wills did not reply, because they too had no answer. Thus, under the watchful gaze of the 3 ancient wills, Lu Qing remained in introspective comprehension. An hour passed, yet he did not open his eyes. 2 hours passed, and still he kept his eyes shut, deep in comprehension. Only by the end of the 3rd hour did Lu Qing slowly open his eyes. In them, array runes seemed to swirl, resembling the vast, unfathomable starlit sky. But swiftly, this phenomenon was drawn inward by Lu Qing. Indeed, the 9th formation surpassed the primordial spirit realm, containing a hint of unity realm essence, explaining its formidable power. Understanding dawned in Lu Qing's eyes. He had entirely grasped the 9-9 returning to primordial array before him. Furthermore, he reconciled the formations of the previous 8 trials with it. By comprehending the 9 seamlessly connected grand arrays and verifying mutually among them, he completed the final puzzle piece of his inner realization. A complete formation inheritance also emerged in his mind. The Great Derivation Array Solution, Primordial Spirit Chapter. Lu Qing felt the inheritance suspended in his mind, joy welling up inside him. After continuously unlocking the arrays, completely understanding the 9 big arrays, he finally obtained the complete inheritance contained within the array channel. It was an inheritance named the Great Derivation Array Solution, but the channel only contained the Primordial Spirit chapter. Even just the Primordial Spirit chapter, this array inheritance, is extremely astonishing. Because when cultivated to its depths, the array laid out can break through the limits, surpassing the scope of the Primordial Spirit realm, containing a hint of Unity Realm stage will. This 9th level's 9-9 returning to Profound Array is an array containing a hint of Unity Will, so its power can reach a level that even makes Lu Qing's heart tremble. But now, looking at the big array ahead, he no longer feels that initial palpitating fear, because he has completely understood this 9-9 returning to original array, knowing every transformation within. Naturally, there is no need to fear that immense power anymore. As long as I break this array, I can enter the Immortal Palace. Lu Qing recalled the information he received when he first entered the trial channel. His eyes inadvertently showed a trace of anticipation. If the information from the channel wasn't deceptive, then upon entering the Immortal Palace, what fortunes await him remains unknown. Thinking of this, Lu Qing no longer hesitated, casually casting a series of spells towards the light screen in front of him. This action also made the 3 ancient intentions in the Immortal Palace slightly widen their eyes. As the spells landed on the light screen, the entire screen first trembled slightly, then silently dissipated. The 3 ancient intentions first showed shock, then revealed smiles that seemed both amazed and relieved. They know the Master's new direct disciple, possibly the most extraordinary one, is finally going to appear. The following actions were simple. Lu Qing, as usual, rapidly cracked one array formation light screen after another. Soon, all 81 layers of light screens dissipated, and a gigantic light pillar appeared, enveloping Lu Qing. It was the symbol of successfully passing the trial. Standing within the light pillar, Lu Qing's eyes showed vigilance along with a hint of anticipation. Vigilance naturally towards the unknown. Anticipation for what the fortune might be. As the light dispersed, Lu Qing's figure had already vanished from the space of the 9th level. Then, when his senses returned, before he could observe his surroundings, suddenly, he felt his entire body stiffen, an indescribable chill rising from the depths of his heart. Lu Qing's expression changed dramatically, abruptly raising his head to look upward. In the next moment, his pupils contracted sharply. Above him, 3 colossal bodies, forming a triangular formation, were looking at him excitedly. Each body was as majestic as a towering mountain. Just their eyes were as large as lakes. Their aura, though not intentionally released, was unimaginably terrifying, far surpassing any strongman Lu Qing has ever seen. Even peak figures like Yu Jian and Mo Tushan of the Primordial Spirit 8th Tribulation seem insignificant as ants before these 3 entities. There's actually living creatures within the Immortal Palace? Lu Qing was shocked, the current situation leaving him somewhat unprepared. Having heard that the returning ruin's secret realm appears once every 100,000 years, an exceedingly long time. Moreover, since entering the secret realm, all cultivators, whether unlocking restrictions for treasures or fighting each other, have not faced any obstruction or punishment. So subconsciously, everyone assumed there were no living creatures in the Immortal Palace. Even Lu Qing thought so. Otherwise, if there were still living creatures, how could they tolerate such rampant actions within the secret realm? Precisely for this reason, Lu Qing was caught off guard, his heart and spirit shaken as he stared at the 3 terrifying entities. This little one seems to be scared by us. At this moment, a voice like a Hong Zhong sounded. In Lu Qing's view, the speaker was a giant black bull with horns, its body entirely black. Its nostrils exhaled a white puff, capable of stirring a terrifying whirlwind. I did say you should have restrained your aura first. He's merely a small 4 tribulations primordial spirit. How could he withstand the impact of our presence? A yellow azure dragon, its body stretched endlessly, remarked helplessly at this moment. It wasn't time yet, you see. The black bull scratched its head, laughing foolishly. We were inconsiderate. A chilly voice sounded. This time, the The speaker was an ice phoenix exuding coldness, akin to a crystal. Upon hearing its words, both the Black Bull and Yellow Azure Dragon turned in surprise. For countless years after the master's departure, it was the first time they heard a confession from Ming Feng. Is this still the ice phoenix they knew? However, Ming Feng ignored the looks from the other two ancient beings, its form trembling, and in the next moment, its terrifying aura quickly receded. Even its majestic, mountain-like body shrank swiftly, finally shrinking to merely 3 meters in size, flying down to Lu Qing. Seeing this, both the Black Bull and Yellow Azure Dragon also quickly constrained their aura and form, shrinking to several meters in size, descending. Soon, the 3 terrifying mutant beasts landed before Lu Qing, continually sizing him up. The heat in those eyes seemed to regard something as a rare treasure. After feeling that the gaze from the 3 terrifying entities didn't seem to harbor malice, plus hearing the earlier conversation, Lu Qing felt a little relaxed. Looking at this situation, it didn't seem to be as bad as he imagined. Once his heart and spirit calmed down, Lu Qing respectfully bowed. Junior Loose Cultivator Lu Qing greets the 3 seniors. Although he did not know the exact level of these 3 mutant beasts in front of him, it's certainly safer to address them as seniors. When Lu Qing saw these 3 massive mutant beasts, he had already activated his superpower to investigate. But it was clear that these 3 mutant beasts had completely surpassed the primordial spirit realm. Even using superpower, he couldn't quickly gather information. No need for formalities, little one. You weren't frightened earlier, were you? Your primordial spirit is not injured, is it? The old Cyan Dragon said kindly. The other 2 mutant beasts also looked at Lu Qing with concern. They had waited tens of thousands of years, only to finally wait for the master's direct disciple to arrive. If they'd inadvertently damaged his primordial spirit, it would truly be inexcusable. Reporting to the seniors, the junior is unharmed. Feeling the concern in the gaze of the 3 mutant beasts, Lu Qing felt even more at ease and replied respectfully. It's good that you're fine, very good. The 3 mutant beasts sensed that Lu Qing's aura showed no signs of decline, and all breathed a sigh of relief. The Black Bull even scratched his head and laughed. No wonder this little one broke through the master's array test with a primordial spirit 4th tribulation. His primordial spirit strength is indeed impressive. Primordial spirit 4th tribulation. Lu Qing blinked. These 3 are indeed unimaginable beings. He simulated a 5 tribulations aura with his perfect primordial spirit transformation, even though major sects like Mo Tushan's 8 tribulations primordial spirit couldn't detect any flaws. But in front of these 3 it was seen through in an instant. 3 seniors, the junior entered the array channel, saw the exquisite array inside, and was intrigued, which made me unable to resist breaking it. I wonder. Lu Qing was choosing his words carefully, unsure how to explain his presence here. However, before he could finish, the old Cyan Dragon interrupted. A good break. An excellent break. Little one, your talent in arrays is truly unparalleled. Would you be interested in becoming the owner of this immortal palace? Lu Qing was stunned by the interruption and then shocked by such astounding news. He was bewildered. To pass just 1 array channel test and receive such a generous reward, to directly become the owner of the immortal palace? Is this reasonable? Due to the overwhelming surprise, Lu Qing was momentarily unsure how to respond appropriately, staring blankly at the 3 mutant beasts before him. Old fool, talking all nonsense, step aside for me. At this moment, the ice phoenix finally couldn't bear to watch anymore. With a flap of its wings, it nudged the old Cyan Dragon aside and stood before Lu Qing. Its originally icy eyes became gentle. Little one, don't be afraid. This old creature has lived too long, his mind foggy, unable to speak clearly. Let me explain to you. Actually, the 8 channels outside were specifically set by my master before leaving as test channels. As long as living creatures pass the tests and break through, they have the chance to become my master's registered and direct disciple. With Ming Feng's explanation, Lu Qing finally began to understand what was really happening. It turned out that by passing the array test channel, he met the standards of the Immortal Palace. Now offered the chance to become a disciple of that great being who created this Immortal Palace. If this was the case, this is indeed a huge opportunity. It seems you understand now. Ming Feng noticed the expression on Lu Qing's face and said, Junior has roughly understood. Lu Qing nodded. So, little one, are you willing to become my master's direct disciple in arrays? Ming Feng asked. The Black Bull and Old Cyan Dragon, at this moment, also looked at Lu Qing somewhat nervously. If it were any other living creature, even if they passed the channel test and broke through into the Immortal Palace, they naturally wouldn't posture in such a way. For mere primordial spirit realm, even if they succeed in passing, just being given a registered disciple spot would be a heavenly gift. How could it cause them to restrain their aura and personally greet and explain? But Lu Qing was different. The performance of this little one in the array channel left the three mutant beasts still feeling shocked at the thought. The unmatched, unprecedented talent in arrays, even in ancient times when stars were shining and talents flourished, they had never heard of. If such a peerless talent could inherit the Master's array legacy, it would certainly expand and magnify the Master's array heritage. Possibly, in the future, they might break the constraints on them, regain their freedom, and go out to search for Master's traces. Not an impossibility. It was precisely for these reasons the three mutant beasts regarded Lu Qing so highly. Feeling the anticipation in the eyes of the three powerful mutant beasts, Lu Qing pondered for a moment, then cautiously said, To become a disciple of that great being, Junior would of course be greatly honored. I just don't know what must Junior pay. You don't have to pay anything? The Old Cyan Dragon waved its claw. As long as you agree, that's enough. Of course, you must undergo the necessary procedures. As long as you pass the calming mirror check, there will be no issues. Calming mirror? Indeed, it is a spiritual artifact capable of examining bloodline origin. As long as you are not a descendant of the clan that has a blood feud with the Master, even if you are a devil, there won't be any issues. Nodded the Old Cyan Dragon. A clan with blood feud. Upon hearing this, Lu Qing's heart skipped a beat. Why does this sound like some kind of flag quietly being raised? Don't worry. Since you can enter the Immortal Palace and weren't instantly destroyed, it shows you don't carry the aura of that clan. Ming Feng seemed to notice Lu Qing's nervousness and comforted him. The calming mirror is just for a deeper level of examination. There's nothing to worry about. After hearing this, Lu Qing felt somewhat relieved. What should Junior do? There's nothing for you to do. Just force out a drop of your true blood. A white treasure mirror appeared in the Old Cyan Dragon's claw. Feeling the aura of the treasure mirror, Lu Qing's heart tightened. This was at least a top-grade spiritual artifact. Facing such terrifying entities, Lu Qing really had no more choices. From the tip of his finger, he forced out a drop of true blood, suspending it in front. Oh, little one, your physical body seems to be well refined too. Seeing the powerful chi blood contained in this drop of true blood, the Black Bull's eyes lit up. Junior once had the fortune to acquire some body-refining technique, Lu Qing humbly said. The Old Cyan Dragon sensed the immense chi blood contained in Lu Qing's true blood and was slightly surprised. However, it said nothing more but activated the calming mirror in its claw to absorb that drop of true blood. Soon after, the calming mirror began to glow, causing Lu Qing's heart to grow tense. Despite believing that, given the remote small world of his home world, the bloodline in this physical body should unlikely be related to the clan with a blood feud with the transformation immortal. But one always worries about the slight chance. With tens of thousands of years past, anything could happen. Fortunately, after glowing for a while, when the calming mirror calmed down, he saw a smile appear on the Old Cyan Dragon's face. The results are out. Little one, your bloodline bears no relation to that clan. Upon hearing this, not only Lu Qing but even the Black Bull and Ming Feng breathed a sigh of relief. It would be such a pity to encounter a mistake in the final step after finding a talented disciple capable of inheriting part of the Master's legacy. Congratulations, little one. You may become my Master's direct disciple in arrays. A direct disciple of the Array Tao. Lu Qing pondered for a moment and then showed a respectful expression. May I ask, venerable ones, what can a junior like me study after becoming the disciple of that exalted one? You have passed the test of the Array Path. Your talent in the Array Tao is unparalleled. Naturally, you will inherit the Master's Array legacy. The old Saiyan dragon spoke matter-of-factly. Lu Qing fell silent for a moment, recalling the 8 trial passageways outside. He then inquired, besides the path of arrays, is that glorious being also exceptionally skilled in other cultivation paths? Certainly. This time it was Ming Feng who answered. Its eyes shone with extreme reverence. The Master is an unrivaled genius through the ages, a supreme power, possessing universal mastery and expertise. Be it arrays, elixirs, talismans, artifact refining, or any of the 100 skills of cultivation. In all of them, he has reached the Grandmaster realm, and his personal cultivation has achieved the legendary transformation realm. In the ancient era, he already stood at the pinnacle of cultivation. Throughout the entire starry sky, though there were some great powers comparable in cultivation to the Master, none are as profoundly learned and talented as he is. Ming Feng's words sounded exaggerated, but the Black Bull and Old Saiyan Dragon did not find any sense of overstatement. Even their posture seemed to straighten as if filled with pride. Clearly, they held genuine admiration and respect for the Master that Ming Feng described. Mastery in all and profound in all. Hearing such words, Lu Qing was also astonished. No wonder there are 8 testing passageways outside. The creator of this secret realm is indeed such a scholar, truly deserving of being called a transformation immortal of legend. Nevertheless, this only piqued Lu Qing's interest further. Honorable seniors, if I become the direct disciple of that magnificent being, can I cultivate in other techniques besides those of the arrays? Other techniques? Old Saiyan Dragon and the others looked at Lu Qing with a slightly peculiar gaze. Is it not allowed? Lu Qing felt a jolt in his heart. It's not that. Old Saiyan Dragon shook its head. As a direct disciple of the Master, you can naturally study other techniques, but I advise against it. Why is that? Lu Qing's heart stirred, wondering if there were hidden reasons. Naturally, it's because being a jack of many trades makes one a master of none. Practicing multiple paths may seem impressive, but it easily scatters your focus, leading to a superficial understanding of each. This time, it was Ming Feng who replied to Lu Qing. Young one, I understand your intention. Earlier, when you heard me speak of the Master's boundless knowledge, you became inspired and wished to emulate him. But that is impossible. My Master's wisdom is vast and infinite, enabling him to master all without exception. For others to mimic his ease in mastery across all paths, not even a transformation immortal can accomplish that. In the past, there was also a direct disciple of the Master who wished to emulate him by mastering multiple paths. The end result was that this disciple squandered years, ultimately halted at the 9 tribulations of the primordial spirit, unable to reach the Unity Realm stage, and eventually perished in his own cave mansion as his lifespan expired. That disciple was once very dear to the Master, causing him distress for a long time, and he lamented whenever the topic came up. Indeed, young one, added the old Saiyan Dragon, your talent in the Array Tao is extraordinary, even superior to that of previous direct disciples of the Master in the Array Tao. If you can wholeheartedly cultivate in the Array Path, your future achievements will be incalculable. There is no need to divert to other cultivation paths, forsaking the fundamental for the trivial. The Array Tao is also a path that leads to the heavens, and at its pinnacle it too can reach the transformation realm. Moreover, even if you now wish to cultivate other techniques, you will only get access to basic techniques at most, declared the Black Bull loudly. Ever since that beloved disciple of the Master perished, the Master sealed the advanced techniques of each cultivation path. He decreed that disciples wishing to cultivate multiple paths must pass the trials he laid out in the test passageways to enter the inheritance land and receive legacies. Hence, even us cannot break the rules and grant you access to other cultivation legacies. Hearing the advice of the 3 mutant beasts, Lu Qing remained silent. He naturally understood the reasoning behind their words, but he was unable to reveal the fact that he possessed a superpower. As for attempting other passageways other than the talisman path, the rest wouldn't be easy to pass. After all, despite everything, he was still only at the fourth tribulation of the primordial spirit realm. Though his foundational base wasn't inferior to any in the primordial spirit realm, his strength was still challenging to match against the top primordial spirits. Upon these thoughts, Lu Qing had come to a decision. He respectfully bowed to the three mutant beasts. I was impetuous, unaware of my limits. Thank you, honorable seniors, for enlightening me. Without solid evidence, if he wished to obtain other legacies, it seemed he could only rely on improving his cultivation in the future and venturing through other passageways. Seeing Lu Qing come to realization, the three mutant beasts couldn't help but smile. They were worried that Lu Qing might be the rebellious type, insisting on his own ways, as many geniuses tend to harbor arrogance. Now it seemed this young one was quite receptive to advice. In this way, the three mutant beasts were even more satisfied with Lu Qing. All right, now we will prepare the apprenticeship ceremony for you, and then send you into the inheritance land of the Array Dao, the old Azure Dragon said. Senior, this junior has one more thing. Hearing about the apprenticeship, Lu Qing felt a stir in his heart and then hesitated a bit. What is it? Although this junior claimed to be a loose cultivator earlier, in reality, I do have a master, and my master is still around, so this matter of apprenticeship. It's just a small matter. It won't cause any trouble. The old Azure Dragon laughed. In the path of cultivation, the competent come first. Having a master is normal. Before leaving, my master instructed that even if someone has another master, they can still enter his tutelage. Otherwise, over the past hundreds of thousands of years, which cultivator exploring the secret realm did not have their own master? If it bothered him, they would have driven everyone out long ago. How could they have tolerated them coming in to explore 3 times? That's good then. Hearing that the conditions were so lenient, Lu Qing could finally relax. As for taking another master, he naturally had no resistance. After all, that's a transformation immortal, an unparalleled great power standing at the pinnacle beneath the stars. He is entirely qualified to be his master. Lu Qing also noted that the old Azure Dragon mentioned the transformation immortal had already left. But he did not ask further. For now, he had yet to formally apprentice, so it was not suitable to inquire too much about many things. Are you assured now? Ready to apprentice? The old Azure Dragon laughed. Lu Qing solemnly stated, it would be an honor for this junior. Good. With a wave of the old Azure Dragon's hand, Lu Qing suddenly felt a power of space envelop him. Before he could react, he felt the world spinning. When he regained his senses, he was already in a new space. The first thing that caught his eye was a giant white jade statue. The statue was of a scholar, holding a book roll, gazing forward. Yet no matter how he looked, Lu Qing couldn't see the features clearly. Though right before his eyes, upon closer inspection, it seemed hidden within clouds and mist, unclear. Lu Qing's heart tightened, understanding the extraordinary nature of the white jade statue. For something even someone at his primordial spirit realm could not see through, it must be another formidable magical treasure. Young one, this is one of the master's dharma aspects. Just bow in front of this venerable one, and you'll have apprenticed. The old Azure Dragon's voice echoed. Surprised by the simplicity of the ceremony, Lu Qing obediently approached, bowing before the white jade statue. Yet he did not see the rare tension appearing on the faces of the old Azure Dragon and the other mutant beasts behind him. After 3 kowtows, an inexplicable aura emanated from the white jade statue, falling upon Lu Qing. This aura was like a gentle breeze, giving Lu Qing no sense of threat. But he seemed to hear a gentle voice, as if rising from the depths of his heart. Not bad. Lu Qing's body shook, and he quickly looked up at the white jade statue. But what he saw was, the statue remained as it had been, without any change. Only the 3 mutant beasts behind him, the old Azure Dragon included, upon sensing that gentle breeze, completely relaxed, delighted smiles appearing on their faces. It seems the master also approves of our choice. 3 seniors, just now that was... Lu Qing couldn't help but ask. No need to mind it, that's the master's approval of you. Young one, congratulations. You are now officially the direct disciple of the master. The acknowledgement of that transformation immortal, wasn't it said he already left? Lu Qing felt more confused. Unfortunately, in front of these 3 powerful mutant beasts surpassing the primordial spirit realm, it wouldn't be wise for him to activate his superpower to observe everywhere. After all, this place clearly seemed very important. If he watched everywhere and offended these 3, it would be a loss. The saying remains true. To investigate the reasons, he would need to endure a bit longer. After all, he was now that one's disciple, with plenty of time in the future to explore slowly. So Lu Qing didn't press further but instead bowed again, somewhat embarrassedly asking, 3 seniors, although I've apprenticed, I still don't know the revered teacher's name. We cannot casually call the master's real name, but just remember, the master's Taoist title is Gui Su Taoist. The old Azure Dragon said.
Gui Su Taoist.
Lu Qing nodded knowingly, finding that it matched the information he had gathered. All right, the apprenticeship ceremony is complete. Ah Qing, do you wish to immediately enter the inheritance land to accept the legacy? After Lu Qing successfully apprenticed, even the old Azure Dragon addressed him more kindly. Lu Qing pondered for a moment and said, This junior has some matters I'd like to consult the 3 seniors about. Ask away. The old Azure Dragon was not surprised, knowing that the outside cultivators would naturally have countless curiosities about the returning ruins' secret realm, so it was normal for Lu Qing to have many questions. However, Lu Qing's first question left the 3 mutant beasts momentarily stunned. May I ask the 3 seniors, how long does this secret realm remain open each time? You dared to come in to explore, yet don't know the duration of the returning ruins' secret realm? The old Azure Dragon asked surprisingly. The Black Bull and Ming Feng also looked at Lu Qing curiously. Logically, the returning ruins' secret realm had already opened for the 3rd time, each time manifesting for 100 years. Such information should already be well known outside. Lu Qing, able to hold the token and enter alone yet unaware of this? Lu Qing revealed a bitter smile. To be honest with the 3 seniors, the reason this junior entered this secret realm was entirely by accident, beyond my control. So, was someone forcing you to come in? The old Azure Dragon asked. However, it quickly reconsidered, thinking otherwise. The dangers in the returning ruins' secret realm are not many. Unless someone does something exceedingly foolish, generally, there isn't any life-threatening danger. On the contrary, the small palaces outside the Immortal Palace still hold a bit of good fortune. Who would be willing to give the opportunity to someone else and not come in to explore themselves? No one forced this junior. The reason I came here is entirely because of this. Lu Qing took out the Void Flying Boat from the Chenkuan 1 Chi bag. This is the Void Flying Boat? Seeing the silver flying boat Lu Qing took out, the 3 mutant beasts were first stunned. Then all showed understanding expressions. I see, it's the Void Flying Boat that brought you here. No wonder you managed to gain possession of a Void Flying Boat. May the senior explain? Lu Qing had taken out the Void Flying Boat because ever since entering the Immortal Palace, he had felt a sense of summons coming from it. It felt like something inside the Immortal Palace was calling him. With circumstances unclear before, he naturally dared not ask casually. Since he had now successfully apprenticed, and these 3 mutant beasts seemed approachable, he took it out. This matter goes long. The Void Flying Boat is a part of a Tao artifact refined by the Master. Back then, during a battle between the Master and an adversary, that Tao artifact suffered significant damage, with its parts scattered. Later, after severely injuring the adversary, the Master was also greatly wounded. Due to certain reasons, anxious to leave, he had no time to retrieve the scattered parts of that Tao artifact. Unexpectedly, one of the parts ended up in your hands. This Void Flying Boat bears the Master's mark and aura, so the Star River formation outside won't block you. Although the old Azure Dragon spoke plainly, Lu Qing still discerned the dangers within. To battle the Guisu Taoist to the death, and injure him, even damaging his Dao artifact. It's evident that such an opponent must also have been a transformation immortal. As for the Guisu Taoist defeating the adversary and hastily leaving without being able to collect and repair his Dao artifact, this certainly involved substantial secrets. Though the old Azure Dragon wasn't explaining further, he naturally couldn't press on either. He only continued to ask, "Then Senior, about the question this Junior just mentioned. Every manifestation of the returning ruins secret realm lasts 100 years. Once 100 years are over, it will conceal itself again, and no one can enter. 100 years until it opens?" Lu Qing was somewhat surprised to hear this. He didn't expect that the returning ruins secret realm would stay open for such a long time, lasting a full century. However, this was good news for him. At least, by the time he finishes receiving the inheritance and comes out, the various forces within the secret realm should not have left yet. Lu Qing had not forgotten the Mo Tushan that had always wanted to take his life. More importantly, his sudden departure meant his family was unaware that he was no longer in his home world. If he stayed away for too long, he wondered if little Yen and his master might start to worry again. "Ah Qing, are you worried about how to leave once the returning ruins secret realm closes?" Old Cyan Dragon seemed to see through his thoughts and smiled. "You need not worry. As a direct disciple, even if the secret realm closes, you will be able to exit. It might be cumbersome, but you won't be trapped here indefinitely." "I see." Upon hearing this, Lu Qing felt more at ease. "So, any other questions?" Though Lu Qing still had many doubts, he thought for a moment and then shook his head. For now, it was more important for him to obtain the inheritance. As for other matters, it wasn't too late to consider them after receiving the inheritance. "Then let's open the inheritance land and send you in right now," Old Cyan Dragon said, then emitted a yellow light seal formation. Almost simultaneously, Black Bull and Ming Feng also each emitted a seal formation. The three distinct light seals collided and fused in midair, creating a vortex that suddenly sucked Lu Qing in. When the spatial vortex dissipated, Lu Qing's figure disappeared completely, and the surroundings fell back into silence. After a while, Black Bull scratched its head. "How long do you guys think it'll take this little one to come out of the inheritance land?" "I don't know." Old Cyan Dragon shook his head. "In theory, even the most gifted genius would need decades to complete the inheritance. But I cannot fathom Ah Qing's talent, so it's hard to say for sure." Black Bull, recalling Lu Qing's performance in the array channel, fell silent too. Without any guidance from a cultivation technique, he could comprehend each array left by the master in a very short time. To be honest, even a great demon like it felt a shiver at Lu Qing's talent in arrays. Predicting how long Lu Qing would take to inherit, it had no idea. "Why speculate? We'll find out when he comes out," Ming Feng said. "At most, just a few decades. We've waited millions of years. What's a bit more time?" "True. With Ah Qing's talent, it shouldn't take decades." Old Cyan Dragon laughed. As for Black Bull, it scratched its head again. Though it had the least patience among the three, even decades were insignificant to it. But to think a void-flying boat would fall into his hands. It seems the master has chosen him as the successor unbeknownst to us. Old Cyan Dragon suddenly said, "It's a pity the immortal flying boat was damaged, and even the artifact spirit perished. Otherwise we might have followed the master to the heavenly realm back then."
Impossible.
The master said the heavenly realm is perilous. We're not strong enough. Going there would be futile. He wouldn't have us throw our lives away. Ming Feng shook its head. Indeed, the heavenly realm is perilous. I wonder if the master is still well. Old Cyan Dragon sighed. Hearing this, Black Bull and Ming Feng were stunned, then looked toward the white jade statue ahead, falling silent. They couldn't answer this question, nor dared to dwell on it. For the master had been gone for hundreds of thousands of years, without any word or return. What kind of peril could keep the master from returning for so long? They couldn't guess nor dared to think. Just the mere thought of the possibility sent fear through their hearts. The only thing offering some peace of mind was the trace of aura the master left in the white jade statue ahead, still present. The aura's presence meant the master was still alive. He just couldn't return for some reason. And this was the reason they had guarded for hundreds of thousands of years. Is this the inheritance land? Once the spatial power around him dissipated, Lu Qing found himself in a new mysterious space. This space wasn't large, merely the size of a small palace. Yet, the entire space was filled with countless golden array patterns. Each pattern was so profound, as if it contained endless insights into the arrays. The transformations between the patterns made these insights even more complex by 100-fold. Some of these patterns, even if Lu Qing glanced at them, gave him a sense of dizziness in his divine soul. Clearly, these patterns were of extremely high level, far beyond the primordial spirit realm. So even Lu Qing's primordial spirit could hardly endure the connotations within, let alone comprehend them. No wonder this was the inheritance land left by a transformation immortal. Lu Qing marveled in his heart. He had already understood what the so-called array inheritance land was. That transformation immortal had infused his array insights into the array patterns within this mysterious space. To gain his inheritance, one must comprehend it themselves, rather than directly obtaining some technique, progressing through cultivation. However, the dizziness just now made Lu Qing realize. He understood that relying solely on his own cultivation to comprehend the formation magic of this land of inheritance was impossible. At least, it's not possible in a short period. Ultimately, it's still because my cultivation realm is too low. Lu Qing sighed. Although his perfect primordial spirit was powerful, after stepping into the Four Tribulations realm, purely in terms of primordial spirit power, it might not be weaker than the 6 or 7 Tribulations primordial spirit realm. But in the current inheritance of Array Dao, there were array patterns exceeding the primordial spirit realm's unity realm stage, and even the transformation realm's meanings. With just himself, he could not comprehend such levels of array patterns for the time being. Fortunately, he still had superpowers. Otherwise, this time he might really come into the treasure mountain empty-handed. After lamenting for a moment, Lu Qing sensed slightly, chose a position, and sat down cross-legged. He had just noticed that although this space was filled with array patterns, these patterns had strengths and weaknesses. The position he was in was surrounded by primordial spirit realm array patterns. Moreover, he was quite familiar with most of these patterns. It was precisely the essence he had comprehended from the 9 formations within the array channel. It's just that now, it's displayed in a more obvious manner for him to comprehend. Lu Qing looked at the array patterns before him and did not use superpowers. Instead, he directly extended his primordial spirit power into them for comprehension. When the primordial spirit power touched those array patterns, a stream of information transmitted into Lu Qing's mind. With a primordial spirit realm cultivation, only by arranging a 9-turn linked array can one leave the inheritance land? After accepting that piece of information, Lu Qing felt something strange in his heart. He naturally knew that breaking formations and arranging formations were two different things. To break a formation, one only needed to find the nodes of the array and then use the corresponding nodes to resolve it. However, arranging a formation requires completely understanding the corresponding array patterns before the array can be set up. The difficulty between the two is not on the same level. If other primordial spirit realm cultivators came to accept the inheritance, they might need quite a long time to master these array patterns for arrangement. But Lu Qing was different. In the array channel, he had already fully comprehended and mastered those 9 formations. Even when arranging formations, aside from the last few formations, which he was unable to set up due to his cultivation limitations, the formations before the 5th round posed no issue for him. In other words, if he wanted to leave this inheritance space now, he could do so at any time. Of course, he could not leave regardless. Unless even superpowers were powerless. Otherwise, Lu Qing did not intend to exit quickly before exhausting the inheritance here. After sensing the surrounding array patterns with his primordial spirit power, Lu Qing discovered that these array patterns were indeed the content of the Mystic Formation Analysis, Primordial Spirit Chapter. They were not much different from what he had comprehended. They were just more detailed and easier to understand. He did not hesitate and directly downloaded them using his superpower, then proceeded to another area. And here, the array patterns around him suddenly became phenomenally more mysterious. Even with Lu Qing's current array knowledge, just trying to comprehend them made his primordial spirit dizzy, let alone fully understanding them. Therefore, he did not try to comprehend but emptied his heart and spirit and merely activated his superpower while looking at those array patterns. Initially, there was no reaction. Lu Qing was not anxious, waiting patiently. Until nearly 100 breaths passed, a few strips of text floated from the array patterns. Unity-level array pattern. A powerful pattern created by a transformation immortal's comprehension. This pattern contains profound truths. After comprehending and mastering it, a Unity Realm stage array can be arranged. Inheritance discovered. Proceed with download. Seeing the floating text in his vision, Lu Qing smiled. Sure enough, even if he couldn't comprehend it momentarily, superpowers always found a way. He didn't hesitate and immediately chose to download. As Lu Qing was comprehending array patterns in the land of inheritance. Outside, the old Cyan Dragon suddenly showed a change in expression. Old Cyan Dragon, what's the matter? The Black Bull asked. Ming Feng also looked over. In the trial channel, a cultivator has broken through to the 4th level, said the old Cyan Dragon. Only the 4th level, what's there to care about? The Black Bull said disdainfully. It's not like that. Being able to break through to the 4th level within a day already shows exceptional talent. The old Cyan Dragon laughed. In fact, although Lu Qing had entered the land of inheritance now, the trial channel had not been open for even 12 hours. So now, breaking through to the 4th level signifies amazing talent. Even in the ancient era, such a person could be called a prodigy. So what? Even if he can break through 9 levels in 7 days, he's still far behind a Qing. Ming Feng jeered. The master left in a hurry and took most things away. The resources remaining in our immortal palace are already scarce. It's uncertain if they're enough for Ah Qing's cultivation, let alone squandered on these wastes. The old Cyan Dragon did not speak further. If before, they thought that being able to find a few registered disciples for the master to continue the inheritance was fortunate, after seeing Lu Qing, this mindset completely changed. With Lu Qing's displayed talent in Array Dao, it's not just about continuing the master's inheritance. He has true potential for the transformation realm, a peerless talent. If Lu Qing can achieve the transformation realm, he would be able to activate the big array left by the master in the past. At that time, they might get news of the master again. However, achieving cultivation to the transformation realm requires a terrifying amount of resources. The master left hurriedly back then, not arranging much. The remaining resources in the immortal palace now are almost insufficient to nurture one transformation immortal. There's indeed no surplus to cultivate other disciples. Enough. If someone does break through within the time limit, give them some ordinary fortuitous encounter and send them away. In the end, the old Cyan Dragon sighed inwardly. If possible, it naturally hoped for the master's lineage to prosper. But with limited resources, it's challenging enough to groom a transformation immortal, let alone others. As for now expelling the challengers, the old Cyan Dragon could not do it. After all, it was a rule set by the master long ago, which the 3 of them could not easily violate. This unity-level array magic is truly supremely mysterious and profound. With my current cultivation, it's still challenging to comprehend. In the inheritance space, Lu Qing opened his eyes again. Unlike before, this time, there was weariness in his eyes. At this moment, he had already downloaded and simulated the inheritance contained within the surrounding unity-level array patterns. He even attempted a bit of comprehension. However, it was precisely this attempt that left Lu Qing's heart and spirit exhausted. The unity-level array patterns were too profound. Even with the help of superpowers, it was hard to grasp the intricacies within. So after trying for a while, Lu Qing decisively gave up. Given his current state, forcibly comprehending unity-level array patterns was too difficult. The meanings within would be hard to understand, even if he exhausted his heart and spirit. It's better to attempt again when his cultivation level is sufficiently advanced. Since the inheritance is now stored in his mind, he can comprehend it whenever he wishes. He took out an elixir, consumed it, and regulated his breathing for a moment to almost fully recover his heart and spirit. Then Lu Qing stood up, intending to head to the last area, where the transformation level array patterns resided. However, as Lu Qing walked halfway, an invisible force blocked his way. At the same time, a piece of information appeared in his mind. Primordial Spirit Realm disciples are prohibited from entering the Transformation Realm array pattern area? Feeling the warning in his mind, Lu Qing immediately understood what was happening. This must be a method left behind by the Transformation Immortal to prevent Primordial Spirit Realm disciples from stepping into the Transformation Realm array patterns area. This wasn't out of fear of disciples stealing cultivation techniques. Rather, it was because Primordial Spirit Realm disciples' levels were too low to bear the vast will of the transformation level array patterns, damaging their heart and spirit. Feeling the isolation of that invisible space, Lu Qing knew that with his current cultivation, it was impossible to cross over. The methods left by the Transformation Immortal were not something a mere Primordial Spirit Realm disciple like him could break through. However, just because one cannot go over doesn't mean there isn't a way. A hint of strangeness flashed in Lu Qing's eyes. He didn't continue trying to cross the boundary, but instead sat down and activated his superpower to look at the array patterns ahead from across the boundary. This time, Lu Qing watched for a long time. A full quarter of an hour passed, and still no information floated out. This was rare since Lu Qing's realm skyrocketed, and his superpower enhanced. Luckily, with the spatial boundary, the array patterns within were significantly weakened in their effect on him. Indeed, even after observing for so long, he remained unharmed. Lu Qing wasn't in a hurry and continued to gaze. After about another half-quarter of an hour, several pieces of information floated out from the array patterns in front. Lu Qing smiled. The divine skills of the Transformation Immortal were indeed mysterious, but his superpower was even more miraculous. Without hesitating, Lu Qing immediately chose to download. Once the download was complete, he chose to simulate. However, after his superpower finished simulating the inheritance, Lu Qing didn't choose to learn immediately. The previous Unity Realm stage inheritance, he merely attempted a little and felt its profound intricacy. Even with the help of his superpower, it was still hard to comprehend, leaving his heart and spirit exhausted. The Transformation Realm array patterns were countless times more mysterious than the Unity Realm stage array patterns. With his current realm, he certainly couldn't comprehend it. So he decided to wait until his realm reached above the Unity Realm before trying to comprehend the transformation level array patterns. After all, the inheritance was already downloaded, and he could comprehend it any time in the future. Glancing around and seeing that there were no other inheritances in this space, Lu Qing prepared to leave. He moved his hands, sketching out array patterns that slowly gathered into a complex array. A moment later, a 9-turn interlocking array was arranged. Of course, this 9-turn interlocking array, manually sketched and arranged by Lu Qing, was far inferior in power to the one in the first trial gate of the array formation test. But the changes within the array were the same. As the 9-turn interlocking array took shape, the inheritance space immediately responded. A force of spatial power appeared, enveloping him. Then a space vortex emerged, swallowing Lu Qing. On the other side, the 3 mutant beasts were still discussing how to cultivate Lu Qing in the future. Suddenly, they all felt something. Immediately afterward, they saw a space vortex appear before them, from which Lu Qing emerged. He then saluted them. "Greetings, mentors." The 3 mutant beasts stared at Lu Qing. Even after he finished saluting, Old Cyan Dragon was still a bit dazed. "Ah Qing, how did you finish so quickly?" "My realm is shallow, and after comprehending the primordial spirit realm array patterns, I found the higher realm array patterns too profound and obscure to grasp, so I decided to leave first," Lu Qing replied, half-truthfully. Superpower was his biggest secret, so he certainly couldn't reveal it. Moreover, he indeed did not yet have the ability to comprehend the higher two realms' array patterns. So technically, he wasn't lying. However, the three mutant beasts weren't concerned about this at all. Old Cyan Dragon's eyes widened. Are you saying that you entered and, in less than half a day, comprehended the primordial spirit realm array patterns, arranged a qualified array, and gained permission to exit the inheritance land? The Black Bull and Ming Feng were also intensely watching Lu Qing. I guess you could say that. Lu Qing nodded. The array patterns in the inheritance land, I actually had encountered a great deal within the array formation test channel. After entering and seeing the inheritance array patterns in the inheritance land, many of my doubts were suddenly cleared. Then Lu Qing moved his hands in the air, sketching. Soon, a small-scale 9-turn interlocking array formed before him. It truly is a 9-turn interlocking array, and it was sketched in the void, arranged by hand. The three mutant beasts stared blankly at the small array in front of Lu Qing. Though the array arranged by Lu Qing was weak, with only the power of the second or third primordial spirit tribulation. With their strength, even a breath from them could completely extinguish it. But they could see at a glance. It indeed was a genuine 9-turn interlocking array. More importantly, Lu Qing had arranged it by hand, smoothly like flowing clouds and water. This indicated he had not only fully comprehended the primordial spirit realm array patterns in the inheritance land but also mastered them deeply, able to arrange it at any time. But how much time had passed? Thinking about how they were previously discussing how many years Lu Qing might take to emerge from the inheritance land. The three mutant beasts felt an absurdity surging within them. It was only then that they realized, despite having estimated Lu Qing's array talent to be very high, in reality that was just the tip of the iceberg. The true talent of this young fellow was far more terrifying than they had imagined. Could it be that the heavens truly favor my returning ruins lineage? The old Cyan Dragon murmured. The Black Bull and Ming Feng shuddered upon hearing this. Is there anything wrong, seniors? Seeing the expressions change on the three mutant beasts, Lu Qing couldn't help but ask. Could it be that he came out too early, without continuing to comprehend inside, making them dissatisfied? There's nothing wrong. It's just that your array talent is so astounding. It surprised us. The old Cyan Dragon quickly explained with a smile. Their gazes toward Lu Qing became even more intense. The Black Bull and Ming Feng were the same. If earlier they were still wondering if Lu Qing could achieve the transformation realm in the future, now they could completely affirm it. He has the potential of transformation. With Lu Qing's array talent, as long as he grows smoothly, he will definitely reach the transformation realm. Moreover, he will be that formidable, top-level transformation immortal with the chance to stand alongside the master. Upon this thought, the three mutant beasts exchanged glances, further solidifying their earlier decision. Ah Qing, now that you have completed the inheritance, what are your plans? The old Cyan Dragon asked. Plans? Lu Qing thought for a moment. Respected seniors, after becoming the master's disciple, are there any conveniences in cultivation? Conveniences in cultivation? The old Cyan Dragon was a bit puzzled. It's like this, I wish to go into seclusion for cultivation for a period. I wonder if there's a place rich in spiritual charm, within the immortal palace, suitable for cultivation. Lu Qing straightforwardly expressed. Lu Qing's most immediate urgency now is to enhance his own cultivation. However, for some reason, though the spiritual energy in this immortal palace is abundant, it hasn't reached an astonishing degree. At most, it is similar to some cultivation paradises in the heavenly origin great world. For ordinary primordial spirit realm, such a cultivation environment is more than sufficient. But for Lu Qing it is somewhat inadequate. So that's what you mean. The old Cyan Dragon laughed. Now you are a direct disciple of my returning ruins lineage. Naturally, you have a cultivation cave mansion exclusively for yourself. Then the old Cyan Dragon flicked out a jade talisman, which landed in Lu Qing's hand. This returning ruins token is left by the master. Only the master's direct disciples are eligible to own it. After you refine it, you can freely enter and exit the immortal palace. You can visit most places within this immortal palace. On the second floor of the Immortal Palace, there are some cave mansions that were once inhabited by the Master's direct disciples. You can choose whichever you like to be your cave mansion. Each of those cave mansions is embedded with a spirit gathering array, which should meet your cultivation needs. Returning Ruins token? Lu Qing looked at the jade talisman in his palm, seemingly examining it with delight, actually probing with his superpower. When several lines of text floated out from the jade talisman, he checked them and, finding no issues, began refining it. This process didn't evoke doubts from the three mutant beasts. They merely assumed it was a manifestation of Lu Qing's happiness. Soon, Lu Qing refined the jade talisman, immediately feeling a mysterious connection between it and the entire Immortal Palace. With the jade talisman, he could teleport outside the Immortal Palace at any time. And this too. At this moment, the old Cyan dragon tossed a jade bottle, which landed in Lu Qing's hand. In this purification bottle, there are elixirs needed for primordial spirit realm cultivation. Use them for your cultivation. However, though elixirs are good, use them wisely, do not over-rely on them. Understanding this principle is hoped. Junior will heed the senior's teachings. Receiving the jade bottle, Lu Qing sensed inside it, immediately surprised. The jade bottle given by the old Cyan dragon is also a treasure. The space inside is divided into multiple small spaces. Each space contains quite a number of elixirs. Just the nourishing god pills Lu Qing had taken before numbered in the hundreds. In addition to other various spirit pills, some of which Lu Qing sensed had even more potent medicinal power than nourishing god pills. Clearly, these are spirit pills of a higher level than nourishing god pills. It is indeed the legacy left by a transformation immortal, as even a random leak is enough to astound Lu Qing. With these elixirs, Lu Qing is more confident in stepping into the fifth tribulation realm in the near future. As for magical treasures, you have the void flying boat, which I observed has mostly recovered its power, so there is no need for other flying magical treasures. As for protective magical treasures, you can pick some from the treasure vault after you exit seclusion when there's time. The old Cyan dragon added. Thank you, Senior. Regarding magical treasures, Junior already possesses a convenient one, and for now, lacks nothing. Lu Qing's words were not mere courtesy. In terms of cultivation resources, he is most abundant in spiritual artifacts. Whether from his past gains in the heavenly origin great world or recent acquisitions within the peripheral palaces of the Immortal Palace, both have filled his hands with more spiritual artifacts than he can use. So, he really doesn't need typical magical treasures. Of course, if the old Cyan dragon wishes to give him some high-quality spiritual artifacts, he would be delighted to accept them. Since that's the case, let's take you to choose your cave mansion then. The old Cyan dragon waved a claw. A surge of tremendous spatial power enveloped Lu Qing. When the spatial power dissipated, Lu Qing found himself in another spatial layer. He and the three mutant beasts were hovering in mid-air. Ahead, there were dozens of grand immortal mountains floating in mid-air. However, those immortal mountains appeared quite desolate at the moment, as if they lacked vitality. Lu Qing was somewhat stunned by the scenery before him. He hadn't expected that within this vast immortal palace, such a space existed. It was as if a whole world was contained within the Immortal Palace. The methods of a transformation immortal are truly unimaginable. These immortal mountains were once the residences of the Master's disciples, and on each mountain, there is a cave mansion. As Lu Qing was dazed, the voice of the old Cyan dragon rang out. Ah Qing, you can choose whichever mountain you like as your cave mansion, or you could even stay in each one for a while since they've been abandoned for hundreds of thousands of years. The voice of the old Cyan dragon was somewhat low. The Black Bull and Mingfeng also appeared somewhat dazed. No one knew what they thought of upon seeing such desolation before them. Lu Qing noticed this and refrained from saying anything more. He understood that these seniors might be reminded of some bygone tales. He glanced at the immortal mountains ahead and activated his superpower. After a while, he had already made a decision and flew forward. With the returning ruins token refined, The pervasive suppressive force of the returning ruin's secret realm was no longer effective on him. So he could fly freely as well. The old Saiyan dragon and the others followed behind, curious to see which immortal mountain Lu Qing would choose as his cave mansion. In no time, Lu Qing reached the front of an immortal mountain and landed on it. He chose this mountain? Seeing this, the old Saiyan dragon and the black bull exchanged glances, a hint of surprise in their eyes. Is it a coincidence? Or does Lu Qing possess some special skill? Otherwise, why would he just happen to choose this particular immortal mountain? Although the thoughts stirred within the three mutant beasts, none displayed any such sentiments and instead landed on that immortal mountain alongside Lu Qing. Spirit Void Peak. Lu Qing landed before a tightly shut cave mansion gate, lightly reading the words on a large stone tablet standing beside it. Then he turned around and said, "Respected seniors, may I choose this cave mansion?" "Of course you can, as I've said. You can choose any cave mansion," the old Saiyan dragon nodded. "But Qing, why did you choose the Spirit Void Peak? Is there any special reason?" "There's no reason, just a mysterious connection." Lu Qing smiled, then activated the Returning Ruins token. "Is it just a coincidental choice?" The old Saiyan dragon and the others exchanged glances. It seems that there is indeed fate at work. Who would have thought that Lu Qing's casual choice would lead him to select this cave mansion? "Senior, is there anything special about this immortal mountain?" Feeling the immortal mountain gradually reviving, Lu Qing asked. The reason he chose this immortal mountain was naturally because, in the exploration of his superpower, its spiritual charm was rather rich. But judging from the reaction of the old Saiyan dragon and the others, it seems the Spirit Void is somewhat special. "Not exactly. It's just that this immortal mountain has been abandoned for a long time. After one of its former master's disciples passed away, it has not been opened since, and unexpectedly, you have chosen it. By the way, that disciple was the one I mentioned before, who attempted to emulate the master by cultivating multiple paths simultaneously. But ultimately, due to lack of lifespan, he couldn't break through to the Unity Realm stage and ended up sitting down for eternity," the old Saiyan dragon said, as if enlightening him. "I see. That's really quite a coincidence." Lu Qing felt enlightened in his heart. It seems that the disciple who passed away held an extraordinary status, otherwise the three would not have reacted the way they did. As they chatted idly, the immortal mountain continued to revive. Vast amounts of spiritual energy surged, and the once withered mountaintop began to emit flowing clouds and waterfalls. The barren mountain surface started to grow verdant spirit grass and spirit trees. In just a moment, a seemingly lifeless mountaintop had become vibrant and full of spiritual charm, turning into a truly elegant immortal mountain. The old Saiyan dragon said, "Qing, the Spirit Void Peak has been activated. Enter it and leave your mark in the central array inside the cave mansion, refine it, and thereafter only you will be able to control access in and out." "Thank you, senior, for the guidance." Lu Qing made a salute and then walked toward the inside of the cave mansion. Soon, he found the array's central area within the cave mansion. It was a golden pillar engraved with countless array patterns, emanating a mysterious aura. Without hesitating, Lu Qing condensed a primordial spirit mark and inserted it into the golden pillar. Since this cave mansion had no owner and Lu Qing had already been recognized by the Immortal Palace, he did not need much effort to refine the central array. "Alright, now that Qing, you have control of this cave mansion, you can focus on cultivation. Should you encounter any issues, feel free to find us. Just activate the Void Return Order, and we can sense it immediately." The old Saiyan dragon spoke as he saw Lu Qing successfully refine the central array. The junior respectfully sees off the three seniors. Lu Qing respectfully made a salute. "Haha, little fellow, cultivate well. The road ahead is still long." The black bull laughed heartily. As for Mingfeng, it simply nodded slightly at Lu Qing. When the three mutant beasts left, Lu Qing closed the cave mansion. After sensing for a while with the array in the cave mansion to confirm no one was spying, he let out a long breath. Though he could feel that these three mutant beasts truly bore no malice toward him and even held high expectations for him, Still, the pressure of facing three beings at the Unity Realm stage was considerable. I didn't expect to become a disciple of a transformation immortal so easily. Recalling the recent events, Lu Qing still felt a sense of unreality in his heart. He had questioned whether there was a conspiracy involved. But given the previous situation with superior forces, he wasn't sure what refusing would entail, so he obediently agreed. Now, it seems the other party was indeed sincere. At the very least, the inheritance and treasures he received were opportunities beyond imagination, something over which even the top forces would go crazy. Contemplating the recent events, Lu Qing suddenly shuddered slightly. Looking around, he found that the spiritual energy inside the cave mansion was still increasing. No wonder it was the cave mansion of a direct disciple of a transformation immortal. The concentration of spiritual energy inside this cave mansion had already surpassed the spirit gathering array he had set up with middle-grade spirit stones. Moreover, with the elixirs that the old Saiyan dragon had given him earlier, Lu Qing felt it wouldn't be long before he broke through to the Five Tribulations realm. I should start cultivating. Lu Qing stopped thinking and released Little Li. Aking. As soon as Little Li came out, it wanted to leap into Lu Qing's arms. But quickly, its actions halted, uncertainly sensing the surroundings. Ah Qing, where have we arrived? Why is the spiritual energy here so dense? To know, even in the heavenly origin great world, Little Li had not encountered such concentration of spiritual energy. It's a long story. Lu Qing briefly explained the recent events. Earlier, after entering the array channel, to prevent any accidents, he had completely sealed the restrictions of the leaving fire tripod. Thus, Little Li was unaware of what happened outside. Ah Qing, are you saying you just became a disciple of a transformation immortal? Little Li's eyes widened in surprise, its mouth agape. It never expected that in less than a day, Lu Qing had already become the direct disciple of the Immortal Palace's owner. I did acknowledge a master, but I haven't even met my teacher. From what those three seniors implied, my teacher, the elder, seemed to have left hundreds of thousands of years ago, and it's unknown where he went. Lu Qing said helplessly, does this mean now that Ah Qing, you've become a disciple of the transformation immortal? We no longer need to fear the outside forces? Little Li's eyes lit up, eagerly asked. Indeed. Lu Qing smiled and replied. How could he not be apprehensive? He had even thought about how to settle accounts with Mo Tushan. However, all this had to wait until he raised his cultivation level first. All right, I'm going to enter closed-door training for a while to continue my cultivation. The spiritual energy in this cave mansion is rich. Little Li, you should cultivate here as well. Little Li nodded vigorously, eyes filled with excitement. The abundant spiritual energy in the cave mansion would certainly help rapidly enhance its cultivation level. It might even break through the bottleneck and reach the next realm. However, Little Li didn't stay close to Lu Qing, but instead went far away to a corner of the cave mansion to cultivate. After all, Lu Qing would occasionally cross the tribulation, and being too close could affect it as well. Seeing Little Li run to the corner, Lu Qing smiled. Then a jade bottle appeared in his hand, the purification bottle given by the old Saiyan dragon that held elixirs. Unfortunately, the elixirs inside were all at the primordial spirit level. Otherwise, he would have shared some with Little Li. Using superpower to carefully inspect the elixirs inside, ensuring everything was fine. Only then did Lu Qing take out a nourishing god pill and consume it to begin cultivating. Instantly, the dense spiritual energy in the cave mansion transformed into a vortex, rushing toward Lu Qing. The surging medicinal power, combined with the rich spiritual energy, caused Lu Qing's newly advanced primordial spirit fourth tribulation cultivation to begin growing little by little. Ah Qing still seems to be cautious of us. Outside Spirit Void Peak, the old Saiyan dragon and the three mutant beasts hovered in the air. It's human nature. We've suddenly treated him so well, anyone would be wary. After all, there's no such thing as a free lunch, said the Black Bull. Time will prove everything, Ming Feng said calmly. It's only been a short time since we met. Ah Qing doesn't understand us yet, but once he gets to know us, he'll realize we mean no harm. Yes, given some time, Qing will understand our intentions, the old Saiyan dragon said softly. Regarding Lu Qing, they had enough patience to show their sincerity. Such an unparalleled genius was worth their effort. All right, let's discuss how to train Qing next. Cultivation in the Array Dao requires considerable resources. Old Saiyan dragon, are there enough treasures in the treasure vault? Ming Feng asked. Hard to say, the old Saiyan dragon sighed. When the master left, he took most of the treasures from the Immortal Palace with him. The resources in the treasure vault should be sufficient for training Qing to the Unity Realm stage. But as for the Transformation Realm, it's a realm that can't be reached merely by accumulating resources. Ming Feng fell silent. Indeed, the Transformation Realm was not easily achieved. Even progressing after entering the Unity Realm stage is extremely arduous, requiring not just resources but also insight to advance. Otherwise, they wouldn't have spent so many millennia without advancing in realm, still stuck in the initial realm of Unity. Rest assured, with Qing's talent, the Unity Realm won't hinder him. I have confidence in him. If even he cannot achieve the Transformation Realm, I can't imagine who else could, the Black Bull said. Recalling Lu Qing's previously displayed unparalleled talent, both the old Saiyan dragon and Ming Feng couldn't help but nod in agreement. They had never seen a cultivator with such terrifying talent in the Array Dao. Compared to him, even their master's once dazzling direct disciples seemed rather ordinary. Ha! As the three mutant beasts were discussing, the old Saiyan dragon suddenly let out a light exclamation. What is it, old Saiyan dragon? The Black Bull asked. Nothing, just that two cultivators have simultaneously broken through to the 4th level in the Sword Dao trial channel. More cultivators have broken through to the 4th level? The Black Bull was somewhat surprised. It seems there are indeed many geniuses in this secret realm exploration. Yet compared to Lu Qing, they still lag far behind. This time they are destined to gain little. Yes, the Sword Dao comprehension of those two cultivators is quite good. They quickly broke through the trial left by the master. Now that Qing is in seclusion, since we have nothing else to do, why don't we go back and see these young ones' performances? The Black Bull suddenly suggested. All right, if there are promising talents, even if we can't accept them as disciples, we can still give them some opportunities and form good ties. The old Saiyan dragon nodded. As for Ming Feng, who was always aloof, this time surprisingly offered no objection. With a twist of space, the three enormous figures disappeared from the space on the 2nd level of the Immortal Palace. Senior brother Yu Jian, I didn't expect us both to pass the level together. In the 4th layer space of the Sword Dao trial, Qing Xii smiled at Yu Jian. This Sword Dao trial space was different from the Array Dao trial space Lu Qing had entered. Here, trialists could communicate with each other. Junior sister's Sword Dao comprehension is truly astonishing. I am amazed, Yu Jian praised. His words were not mere flattery but genuine surprise. Qing 12's cultivation level was slightly lower than his. Yet they broke through the 3rd level at almost the same speed. This indicated her Sword Dao talent was not inferior to his and might even surpass it. He couldn't help but be amazed. Senior brother flatters me. I can only keep up with you for now, but I fear I'll gradually fall behind later on. Qing Xii shook her head. She knew her situation. She only passed the previous levels thanks to her special constitution. In terms of Sword Dao comprehension, compared to Yu Jian from the Skybreaking Sword Sect, who had spent his life understanding the Sword Dao, she was still a bit lacking. When it comes to the later levels, she feared she would slowly fall behind. Junior sister is too modest. Yu Jian didn't share her view. Seeing this, Qing Xii didn't explain further but shifted the topic. By the way, senior brother, according to the records left by my sect's ancestor, in this trial channel, after entering the 5th level, we might encounter cultivators from other channels, so you must be cautious. Yes, my sect's ancestor also left similar records. Please be careful, junior sister. Yu Jian's expression became slightly serious. He recalled the records left by their ancestor, which mentioned experiencing a bloody battle in the 5th level. The ancestor even advised that whoever first reached the 5th level would have the initiative, so they must remember this. Thinking of this, Yu Jian immediately said, "Junior sister, let's first check the test of this 4th level." "Please, senior brother." The space Yu Jian and Qing 12 occupied was quite vast, containing nothing but a massive trial sword stone in the center. Both were accustomed to this and approached the huge trial sword stone directly. The Sword Dao Channels test wasn't particularly complicated. Each level had a trial sword stone containing a peculiar sword intent. Trialists had to comprehend the sword intent inside and condense it. If they could, within the set time, leave a 3-inch deep sword mark on the trial sword stone with the comprehended sword intent, it meant they could pass the level. Observing the trial sword stone before them, Yu Jian and Qing 12's expressions grew serious. The trial seemed simple, but it required immense Sword Dao comprehension from the trialists. The disciples from the Skybreaking Sword Sect and Kongming Sect who entered this time were all Sword Dao prodigies. Yet only the 2 of them reached the 4th level. This illustrated how profound the sword intent within the trial sword stone truly was. After concentrating, the 2 began using heart and spirit to immerse themselves into the trial sword stone, seeking to comprehend the sword intent within. Boom! As Yu Jian and Qing Xii were comprehending the sword intent of the 4th level, in another trial channel, a figure in a purple dragon robe finally shattered a black pillar. Soon after, a beam of light descended upon him, finally broke through the 3rd level. The middle-aged man in the purple dragon robe had cleared the level, but there was no joy on his face.